We do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
What up? What up? Hello, world.
Was really good.
What's crack-a-lacking?
Hey, Ant, either you got the ultimate death stare going or you frozen, my brother.
Your internet giving me some problems over there, Ant.
Is your service nervous? Is your Wi-Fi leaky?
Internet giving me some problems over there, Ant.
Is your service
I swear, This thing just won't let us be great. Every week, somebody's service giving them problem. It pick one of us every week. Think the feds watching yet? Damn.
Well, Ant is fresh to death if the Fed's watching. I know you see the headgear.
I know.
Man,
Check them out.
filing and profiling. That's all it is. He just wanted to see what the hat looked like. That's what's
I
really
think that's
going
what
on.
it is.
I'm not mad at him though. All right, but while we wait for Ant to go ahead and gather himself,
Yeah, man.
greetings and salutations to everybody. What's up? This is Manversations 2020 with your man Ant Malcolm, Major Gage, and Bobby Drake, and we are here to go ahead and give you some realness from the perspective of manhood and masculinity. This is
Yes,
the
yes,
place
yo.
where we inform, build, and we inspire.
Yes, sir. You already know. Looks like he's
So,
loading there.
how was the week, Major? Wait, hold on.
We got him.
Don't call it a comeback.
Hey, I
Oh,
think you
unless he
froze
closes
again,
the room.
bro. Oh shit. You good, Ant? Okay, you finally moving.
Man, they
Oh, we
had
can't
you on
hear
a
you.
full
We can't hear you
attack,
now.
bro.
Now we can't hear you. Like you were saying, Bob. Let's just get into it while we waiting for Ant. The week was good, man. Everything was copacetic, man. It was my 1 month anniversary of my marriage. I had some folks call me and congratulate me and everything, and I was feeling good about that. It didn't even feel like it, man. It's like you blink and that much
Beautiful.
time went by. You feel me?
And as
But
I was supposed to be.
yeah, man. It's the wife. We got our official papers, the actual official paperwork. So we're married now. You know what I'm saying? Trying to think
You
if
mean you got the piece of paper?
we actually got the paperwork. Yes, sir. We got the signed, sealed, delivered paperwork from the state that
You got
says
state sponsored parent? Let me stop.
yes, man. We are out here in these marriage streets. You dig?
What's
So
up? You're
that was a
beautiful.
great feeling. We heard from some things from family. Family been hitting us up quite a bit. Real interesting, man. Like how things switch and how people's mindset changes. I'm hearing, since our marriage, my father, who I've asked a billion times to move to Florida, is actually reportedly considering moving to Florida, and so is her father. So
They
that
want to
was
get close to the potential grandbabies. That's what's going on.
big. That's what I'm getting from it. They want to be close to them grandbabies. They can smell them grandbabies. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I'm really really excited about that, man. I was like, nothing's final, but it would be nice to have them closer. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great because you think about it like, damn, every time the grandparents want to see their grandbabies, we gotta get on a plane or drive up somewhere. But like if they right up the street, this is it's simpler, so that's
Right.
definitely a blessing, man. We was excited about that. Well, you know what I'm saying? Nothing really particularly
Yo,
eventful other than that. What about your week, bro? What's going on, Ant? Can you hear us?
yo,
Yeah, we hear you, but you froze again.
y'all can,
Wait a second.
am I
There you go.
frozen?
You keep freezing. Like you're frozen
Okay, I'm
again.
back.
Yes. We can hear you, but you're frozen.
I'm
Okay,
good.
now you were
I'm
moving and now you're frozen again.
This is fine. I'm trying to see if we can see your motion for like more than 5 seconds because it seems
Exactly.
like it's stop motion going on.
Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
Um, if by really that bad you mean stop and do the robot,
Yeah.
then
You like stop and go, man. Like it's crazy.
uh, whatever your device is on, try disconnecting from the Wi-Fi and try disconnecting from the Wi-Fi and reconnecting to it. Might need
Yeah.
to keep the connection uh, clear.
And
No, but my
that
week was
Let me
good.
see.
I got a lot of stuff done. It was very productive, very constructive.
okay.
Main thing was some of my folks went out and did some competing over the weekend, so I was trying to be out there and support them.
Yeah.
Um, did a pretty good job. When my boy, three of us went out and handled business. One of our guys, he went out and he did his thing. It was a tough match. Another one of our guys, he came close, but he held up his own. He did a pretty good job. We found out after the fact that the dude was freaking brown belt. He was a white belt, and he was able, to put up a hell of a fight. Man had a whole uh, frustrating grind going on, but he finally got him. But
Yeah.
so he definitely fought away feeling like he did his thing. So some real good stuff was going on this week. Some good recreation. Got a lot of constructive things. Hammering down some plans for the week to come and for next few months. But no, I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel strong. And I'm here kicking them with y'all. So
That's what's G,
winning.
man. Listen,
Winning.
I'm gonna tell you while we still waiting for Ant, bro. For some reason this week, the shenanigans online have just been otherworldly, bro. Like I don't know if you experienced the same thing. I put up a tweet this week, a post rather on FB this week, bro. Remember the one I put up about Tia Mowry?
Jesus.
The what, yeah, bro.
Bruh, at this point, it's like every week there's a new 2 or 3 spinoffs from this lady's life.
Oh my
You
god.
got to narrow it down. Train wreck is not the word.
The one that I put up talking about Tia Mowry and her leaving the guy and you just calling out the hypocrisy.
Am I on?
You're on. We see you. We can hear you, and we see you moving.
And it's consistent.
Good.
Return the Ant once again.
All right. What's going on, man? Welcome back. We thought we lost you.
Chilling, man. God, they won't let us be right, man.
Oh my God.
It's a good show tonight, and they won't let us be right. I guess when you're trying to hold accountability somewhere, it's going to get kind of crazy in here tonight. You feel me?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't expect the feds to be watching already. Damn. You dig? Every week, somebody internet goes up.
Exactly. Yeah. It's always some bull crap.
So we
got a great show for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you already had it in the show. I brought up the Tia Mowry post, but we're gonna bookmark it, catch it later, or whatever, because I don't know what you already might have. It might be in there already.
Oh, with the Tia. Okay, yeah. So tonight's show is basically what woman are you? And the reason why I wanted to bring this show up to everybody is because out here in the dating pool, we have a bunch of people out here just with different ideology. We have men with different ideology. We have women with different ideology. So this week, we're going to talk about the women. Next week, we're going to talk about the men. Next week is going to be what kind of man are you? So it's a 2-week session. And this week, we wanted to talk to the women. We wanted to put the accountability on the women and find out what type of woman are you? And we know that during this week, we saw a bunch of interesting things that was going on with different women out here. And I thought it was very interesting for us to do a segment based on what we were seeing, because we have a lot of mixed reviews of different things. A lot of women are jumping this way and riding this ideology and jumping that way and riding that ideology from what that woman is saying. So we wanted to get a general gist of what kind of women are the men out here dealing with inside the realms of the dating pool, right? Because it's very important for us to know what are we dealing with when it comes to, the opposite sex when we out here dating. Men want to know what type of women you are, and women want to know what type of man you are. So this week we're definitely going to focus on the women. Next week we'll focus on the men. So ladies, don't feel like you can't get your voice across, because this week might be on you, but next week it's going to be on us. So we want you vocal on both weeks, right? So we definitely want you vocal on this week. So we have the chats open. We also are going to put a little bit later, we will put the link in the chat room, so that way you guys can go out here and click on the link and then join us on air as well. And let us know what type of woman you are.
Yay. Rock with it.
So
Yes, sir.
in the news, we've seen a lot of different people getting checked from all type of areas. And it's very interesting. Now we're seeing a lot of people holding women accountable, especially see a lot of women holding women accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying about the Tia Maui situation.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead and explain to them about the Tia Maui situation, because she was one of the sisters that we had on the flyer. The flyer had Tia, it had Lori Harvey, it had Tahaji P. Henson, and it also had Claire Huxtable, which is can't remember, Felicia Rashad, and
Yeah.
then it had and then it had Krishan Rock, or
Oh,
what's her name? Krishan
Krishan Rock.
something that is with Blueface, right?
Yes, Krishan Rock.
Krishan
So
Face.
yeah, huh?
Krishan Face.
I didn't hear you. What you said? Krishan Face, yeah. So we had
Krishan Face.
her all on the flyer, and the reason we had them all on the flyer is because of the difference of each woman. Like I put the Felicia Rashad because she exudes the housewife, the businesswoman, the career woman that balances out the housewife. Krishan is the girl who got connected with trauma bonding. She identifies with trauma bonding with drama with her mate, and you could see the toxicity that both of them, Blueface and them, go through. And we have a lot of women out here that are drawn to other men based on that toxicity, and are in relationships not based on love, but based on trauma bonding. That's what we talk about when we talk about trauma bonding. Is bonding through trauma. You having a connection through being toxic with each other. Lori Harvey is the millennium player. So, the woman that is just going around enjoying the dates, enjoying what she can get out of whoever she's with. And then when she feels bored, she is like, yo, I feel like you're not the man for me. And I get out of a relationship and go start another one. So we have a lot of women that do that. They find more satisfaction in going on dates and temporary situations. That way they can benefit from it more in the long run, because everybody wants to treat a woman like Lori Harvey, who's very attractive. So when she goes out here and she's on these different dates, she then can benefit or reap the benefits of something that is so fresh. When it's fresh and you have men out here that just wants to spend the money on you, whether they want to have relations with you or just be around you, the money is going to flow quicker in the beginning. So she loves that. And we have women out here that's like that. The next one is Taraji P. Taraji P is, as you guys know, that she also played a role in Think Like a Man. And in Think Like a Man, she had Michael Ealy was her guy that she ended up connecting with. And the dynamics of Taraji P, which is in real life, is that she's a working woman. She's a workaholic. She's a career woman that puts her career in front of everything else. And in the long run, now you see Taraji P is coming out saying that she wants love, but she, has focused so much into her career now that her love has suffered on the back line. So we see a lot of ones that go out here and earn the degrees and earn the accolades and earn the success. But on the back end, they suffer a lot because they put so much focus and so much energy and so much time into that one area that they lack in the love area. And it ends up being a little bit more stressful and detrimental to them, because on that back end, the love, the strength of a man is what's going to carry you through these extensive career journeys that you go through. The intensity of different situations. Having a stable, solid man behind you can help you with your career much more successful than you think that you are doing without one. And I think a lot of women lose sight of that. So I highlighted Taraji P for that perspective of it, because we have so many career-driven women that kind of drives a man out of their picture. But yet, in the back end, they suffer the most from it because they want that man in that picture. They want the companionship. They want that strong leadership. They want the protection. But because they didn't know how to balance it out correctly, they drove him out of the picture. And the last one is Tia Mowry, which is one of the twins from Sister Sister. And she is the one I picked is because of the fact that she has everything. She has the man, she has the family, she has the children. So she's already built this structure. And there was no cheating going on with this man. He was a general typical man that was out here striving to be there for his children, to be there for his wife, and just do the basic construct or help holding up the construct of a nice nucleus family. And here it is with Tia, who everyone feels like she wants something new. And a lot of women are like that. They be in something for so long and they see everybody else doing certain things, and your man is not on that level of where you feel like you might want him to be on, or you might the level of things that you probably want to achieve on a luxury level. Maybe he's not providing that, but he's giving you the stability and the structure, the nucleus home that many other people don't have, especially those that do have the excessive luxuries. A lot of their houses are dysfunctional. We talked about that plenty of times where people think that they think that high value man is always a good thing. And a lot of times it's not really a good thing. It could be a stressful thing. And also you're not going to get a well balanced household with a super high value guy, especially if he's always at work or always on the road. There's going to be things lacking inside the nucleus of that household. And most of the times it's his presence. And we've seen that through Tom Brady and his wife and what they were going through the public eye in that situation. So I brought Tia in that perspective, as a lot of times women will have everything that everybody else wants, but yet they would jump ship to go and find something better, which they think the grass is greener. And a lot of times the grass isn't greener. And by the time you realize that, you already destroyed something that was so good. And then now you're back at square one. But now you're in a situation where now you have to deal with somebody who understands that you have 2 children from a previous man. And a lot of times that's not going to be something a high value man, which is a man that you're seeking to be more value than the one that you have now. In that perspective of it, you now are not going to get to that level man because you already have 2 other children from another man. And most of those men want to start their own family. So now you're stuck in the middle. You're stuck between what they always say, a rock and a hard place. And a lot of women are in that predicament and in that situation. So go ahead, Major, and take it over with Maui and let us know the Tia situation.
Yeah. I would definitely start out with Tia because, man, I put up this post just, kind of giving some game, giving some perspective, giving some insight, from how men see these things. And I didn't really expect it to take off like that. I mean, dude, it's 150 comments on this damn thing. Like, people are still commenting. Somebody commented on it today. I'm like, damn. It triggered a lot of people. The post goes like this. This is when Tia posted, "I know love will find me again." She puts a heart after that, right? And someone replied to her, Tony Dillon replied to her, "Girl, thought you graduated? Oh, so now you want attention and validation? You should never have left your husband, SMH. You don't get older to start dating and be single. You and Taraji P. Henson," they added Taraji, "make no sense. You're doing it wrong." Okay. Another sister reposted that and said, "Good job" at Tony Dillon, saying that the other sister did a good job in kind of, giving her some game as to, this move she made. And, it was just silly, in her view. And she told her why. And so I said, sisters giving game out here. I know if a man left his seemingly good wife and family for what looks like no reason, he would be crucified. But I have come to expect y'all's bias and hypocrisy. That being said, interesting. Thoughts? Man, did I kick the hornet's nest. Boy, these women jumped out the window. Yo! I'm like, damn. Your drawers on fire. Who shit in your Cheerios? Are you serious?
Zombie
Dude,
apocalypse practice.
this post, you know what's funny as hell, man? Like other posts that I've made that, you know, just kind of want to put some feelers out there, hear what people are thinking, whatever. This post was actually pretty mild. Man, do you know how many people tried to tell me that I'm attacking this girl and I'm tearing down a black woman and bruh, what part of what I just said is attacking and tearing somebody down? You know, just broadly speaking, before I get into this, sisters, well-meaning sisters, intelligent sisters, mature sisters, y'all got to get off this BS where you listen to these knuckleheads telling you that because someone challenges your position or because someone disagrees with you or because someone may say, hey, like the sister said, you're doing it wrong. You don't get older to start dating and be single. People are giving you game. They're giving you their opinion on what you're doing to try to keep you from doing something stupid more often than not. Because a lot of times y'all out here doing things that are foolish because you don't think that anyone can say anything to you. You think that you're beyond criticism. You're not. As an adult, everybody's going to be criticized. Everybody's going to get something wrong sometimes, you know, and this whole nonsensical dialogue of, oh, you must hate women. She tried to pull that shit too. You hate women. That. Shut up. Just shut up. Because it's two women who actually had the comments. I'm simply reposting it and asking for people's thoughts. There are two women checking her on this bullshit. So you can't pull your, oh, you hate women nonsense, right? First of all, let's get that out of the way. Anyone who challenges something that you do and disagrees with you, one, does not hate women, and two, is not attacking you. Children think that way. Only children think that way. Okay? So let's get to the point where we can have an intelligent adult dialogue without you deflecting into this nonsense. People who deflect into that on something like this, I take everything you say with a grain of salt. You might as well have just, that is my confirmation that you're a moron. No, this is not about attacking anybody. You know, we're having a conversation. This, and like I pointed out in my caption, if it were a man that left his seemingly good wife for no apparent reason, he would be crucified in the court of public opinion. That is real. You remember when Travis Kelce left the black girl he was dating? All he did was break up with her. Man, these women dragged him for filth. Like, I mean, you know, that was in a relationship. He decided he didn't want to be there no more. It's done. He moved on. He didn't drag her. He didn't talk down on her. He just broke up with her. They dragged him for days. This woman left her husband, broke up their family for no apparent reason, said he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't wrong me. He didn't cheat on me. And the women still dragged him. That's the funny part. They still dragged this man. She said he didn't do nothing. No, he must have did something. Even the women on this post, they hinted that he must have been verbally abusive. He must have been emotionally abusive. Oh, you know, and yeah, he might have cheated, but she just didn't want to put him out there. These women are sick. Dude, you're literally making up a whole other narrative in your mind of what must have happened just so that you can, what does Kevin Samuel say? You can be right. Just so you can give a woman that needs to be right space. You know what I'm saying? She must have been right because he's a man. This must be okay. And then the other ones, oh, well, you know, She just outgrew him. Oh, they made up every excuse in the book. It's a wonder they didn't dislocate their arms reaching. You understand? I mean, they were just making up stuff out of thin air. And I'm like, wow, somebody has to date that. Somebody has to. I mean, this is not even someone they know. This is a person that they'll never meet, just a public figure that happens to be female. And they just make up excuse after excuse after excuse just to somehow make her right because she's a woman. But then we're sexist. Really? You know, it was very disappointing. And the reason I brought this up, quite frankly, because I actually kind of vibe with, you know, the way Tia Mowry rocked, the way she carried herself. She seemed like a very decent woman. You know what I'm saying? She married a black man. They have a black family. They seem very happy. And it's like, damn, you know, I start to get a little concerned because I realize how void of leadership and void of self a lot of people are. A lot of people out here, they pattern their entire life and lifestyle after things that celebrities do. You understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you, there are women that I know personally that I've known for a long time. Oh, I'm so heartbroken about Tia, blah, blah, blah. You know, I wanted to be so much like her growing up, and, you know, I still do, you know, and, you know, it worries me to see her marriage situation just dissolve. You know, what does that say about the prospects for me? I mean, they're literally saying this. You understand? And I'm like, wow, you know, so I'm asking the question because it just doesn't really make a lot of sense when you analyze it from the standpoint of someone who has an identity and isn't so invested in celebrities. Okay, you know, this happened. It's unfortunate. You know, I wish him the best, but this is not life. This doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, you know, the divorce bug is coming for me, or, you know, the failed relationship bug is coming for me next. But a lot of people really literally think that way. They're a lot less intelligent than we give them credit for being. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. So, you know, I thought that was very interesting. I mean, anybody who follows me that hasn't had a chance, just read through the comments. And our sister Felicia, our fearless warrior Felicia, I got to shout Felicia out because none, as in zero, of these women felt like it was okay for Corey to be left by Tia. They thought that was terrible of him to be left by her, and they went in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, it must have been this, must have been that. You expect somebody to just stay in a situation where they're not happy? Rah, rah, rah. Okay, that's a fair point. If you're not happy in a situation, I can understand you wanting to, you know, be somewhere else. But at the same time, what happened to vows? See, these people who get married, so few of us get married that people who talk about marriage have no point of reference because they've never seen a successful marriage up close in their family or otherwise. Or if they do, it's very seldom. It's from the outside looking in. People don't take marriage seriously. You understand what I'm saying? But then they run around talking about how they want to be married. Well, if you don't want to, Felicia said this in one of her comments, you know, yes, women want to be married, but they don't really know what marriage is. Well, why the hell do you want to be married so bad? Can we make sense here? That's all I'm saying. Make it make sense. You know, this post taught me that we really have a lot to learn. Because this whole thing where we have two separate justice systems, you know, when a man does something, it's man bad, woman good. You know, you don't grow that way. We can't come together and fix any of the problems that we have if we can't acknowledge, hey, we need to listen to each other. We need to be fair-minded when we're talking about one another. And we need to, most importantly, apply all that to our lives. You know what I'm saying? We need to apply all this stuff, you know, internalize it and apply it to our lives and have fair interactions with each other. A lot of these people that get on the internet and pontificate on these posts, they don't really know what they're talking about. They just like to hear themselves talk. They like to blow smoke up their own ass because they heard somebody else say something and they repeat it, and because they think it sounds smart, so they repeat it without giving any critical thought to what it is that they're saying, the substance of what they're saying. This is just a bunch of bird brain babble. You know what I'm saying? Like you really gotta read this stuff. But that's my take on Tia. The other ones, maybe we can do them one by one. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know how you want to do it because it's 5 different sisters, and I don't want to go
4.
Go ahead, Bob.
Tia,
Correct.
Krishan.
Aunt you froze again, Aunt.
Go ahead, Bobby.
No, all I gotta say is, and this would have happened even if she wasn't a celebrity.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'm convinced celebrity worship is going to be the death of so many people. I mean, it used to be just some old Jim Jones, Waco sipping the Kool-Aid type thing.
Yeah.
It's so far beyond that. Some of these people, people are literally making important, critical life decisions based on what celebrities do, based on trends and what's popular.
Real talk.
There's a time when it was only the elite Hollywood weirdos that would go out and get all these plastic surgery jobs, go out and get these Brazilian butt lifts, these BBLs, get these lipo treatments and these Botox injections and all the other stuff, all this crazy stuff. The average person wouldn't even get remotely near a plastic surgeon's office, legitimate or otherwise, unless they were someone who were severely overweight and obese, and they were at a point where they couldn't really lose weight naturally, so they had to go and get a tummy tuck, get liposuction, fat transfer in some cases, get a lap band or whatever. Those are the things that average people, for the most part, went to go and see these physicians for. Outside of that, you were looked at as a weirdo for doing this. People would crack jokes at people like Joan Rivers and such. These people are 80, 90 years old, and they got faces looking like they're 40, looking like the Crypt Keeper. They got all kind of crazy stuff going on. Nobody sane that wasn't at that level would go to a plastic surgeon's office or even know where to find one.
Right.
And now you literally have women, because you have a small number of it is men, but if we're going to be honest, it's the vast, overwhelming majority is women. Now you have women literally flying out of the country. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even staying within the borders. They're flying abroad over water to go and see Consuela or Graciela in some foreign country. They barely speak the language.
Right.
Hoping and praying that they have more saline than Fix-A-Flat being injected in their bodies just to get all these different things in the name of looking good, according to what celebrities and social media are doing.
Right. Real talk. The
and those are the ones that are gambling with the health. Then you have the ones that are gambling the finances who are deciding, well, I'm not going to go over there and do that. That's too risky. But I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to go in debt. I'm going to go and take out a whole care credit line so I can go ahead to some legitimate Dr. Miami surgeon and get his procedure and come out looking like I'm auditioning for the next Ant-Man film. I mean, but all to keep up with, not even the Joneses, to keep up with the celebrities.
Yeah. The self-hate is real.
And that's exactly what it is. It is self-hatred. Self-hatred and laziness, which is a dangerous combination. Because if you're really that hell-bent on improving your figure, you can always go to the gym, but that calls for work. That calls for having to go and put in exercise. You got to sweat. You got to go. Your body's going to be aching and hurting for a little bit. That calls for changing your diet and your eating. You have to stop eating less of the garbage you eat. Start eating more good things. Stop overeating. It can't be brunch every single Sunday because all those carbs, all those fats and everything is going to go straight to the places you don't want to go to. It takes too much work and discipline. It's a lot easier to go and let someone else do the work. Just literally put you to sleep, and when you wake up, it's done.
You said it. Discipline.
And now And what I like, and I don't like it because of the health consequences. I'm not trying to see anybody wind up 6 feet under. But what I'm liking now is you do have a couple of these celebrities. I hope that starts to become a new trend that is starting to publicly let people know that it ain't what it's cracked to be. At Cardi B, who went in and had her implants and everything removed because they were leaking out and they were causing damage to her system, and had somebody else in the
K
same
Michelle.
state.
K Michelle.
Yeah, hey Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to realize, hey, we did this to get a short-term boost, and yay, it was all great and all good, but now there's some drawbacks. This stuff is expensive to keep up, or it's
Mm-hmm.
affecting our health in other ways.
Right.
But just following and leading.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you're willing to go to all this length, invest money, invest your life to follow these trends, you know these people following behind these celebrities and these other popular people when it comes to how they move in relationships.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We got
Absolutely.
to we've got to get smarter, man. Um, we need to start being more intentional. Part of the issue is we don't have enough successes in our families, if we can be honest. We don't have enough success in our communities. How
Yep.
many people can genuinely say that they have successful married couples in their family? The mother and the father were married successfully for a long time, still are. Their grandparents, aunties, and uncles. Because success is just like failure, success is contagious. That's why they always tell you, if you want to see how you're going to do in the future, look at the 5 people that you spend the most time with. They're going to reflect where you're going to be or where you are currently.
Real talk.
If everybody around you is a loser, everybody else is a failure, you're surrounded by nothing but divorcees. If you're married, guess who's going to be the sixth divorcee? If you got a bunch of, you got to be able to, you got to be intentional about the way you're moving. You need to be around the people that are where you want to be and are willing to help you get there. Eagles don't fly with pigeons. The air is different. The
Just
pigeons
saying.
can't even make it up there.
Yeah.
The eagle don't have to do down here unless it's going for prey. You got to be with people on the same vibe, on the same wavelength as you. People like to talk about manifesting and all this other stuff. Well, you need to manifest some people that are going to get you where you need to be.
Right.
And if you don't have success, that's not your fault. You have no influence on that whatsoever. A lot of the decisions and the choices, right and wrong, that were made that caused that situation, you weren't even around for it to be in your hands. But as an adult, when you know better, you do better. So your job is, hey, whether it's your church, your workplace, your neighbors, find some couples that have been together for some time. They've been through some battles and some hardships.
Mm-hmm.
Sit at their feet, pick up the game from them. But following the footsteps of a Tia Mowry,
Mm.
nah. And see, and I mentioned this when we were having this conversation elsewhere. The thing about people like Tia Mowry who make these decisions, these little gambles on their relationships and their happiness, the
Mm.
thing is because of their status, their resources, their wealth, and their status, they have the means where they can distract themselves from what's going on. So Tia's in a bad way right now, but Tia has money. She can go on vacation to St. Bart's.
Yeah.
She can
Yeah.
go to the Maldives. She can go to Bali. She has some red carpet premiere to attend. She has some commercial she's going to be shooting, some show or some film. She has a number of things that call for her attention and time that she can pour into, so she can minimize how much she's feeling this. She'll pop up on social media every now and then and say, "I know love will find me again." She can do that here and there, but in
Mm-hmm.
real life, she's so busy that it's not until she actually stops for a second that she can actually remember what's going on.
Right.
The average woman, you ain't popping like that. You
Mm-mm.
can't just pick up and go on vacation whenever you feel like it. You can't go island hopping.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got no red carpet premieres. You don't have anything that's going on in your life frequently to that extent where you can just distract yourself. You ain't got like that. All you can do is sit right there and brew and stew and roast and bake in your misery and your loneliness.
Real talk.
These people are playing the game at a level that you can't play at. And it's not good for them, so you know it's going to suck for you.
Mm-hmm. And then, also, just the
Exactly.
monetary aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally can afford to do that where the average woman can't. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Right.
great points, brother. Great points. Yeah, Monet says, by the way, she agrees. And what
Yeah,
up?
definitely great points.
Salute to Monet.
What up, Monet?
What
Go
up?
ahead,
What up,
man.
Monet? What up? What up? Appreciate it. Appreciate the
Mhm.
feedback.
Props,
No, so
props to Monet. She said,
yeah, so I wanted to post up. I guess this is it, real quick. Hold on, let me see if this is it. I think that no.
Yeah, that's
that's it.
it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
That's the one.
Hold on. I'm trying to get it to respond real quick. Okay, there we go. All right. So it says, I know love will, this is Tia's tweet. I know love will find me again. And one of the girls replied, girl, thought you graduated. Oh, so now you want the attention and validation. You should have never left your husband, shaking my head. You don't get older to start dating and be single. You and Taraji P make no sense. Is this what you were talking about earlier, right?
Yes.
Major?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
So she makes valid points. You know, you don't grow older to become single because when you're in your prime, that is the best selection moment that you have. When you get older, you're not seasoned like that as a woman. Now it's the opposite for men. Men, when they get older, they get more seasoned. They, financially structured, more intellectually wiser. They have more mentors. They have more resources. So as men get older, it's the opposite for us. We come into our prime in our latter years because of what we obtained in that process, striving and grinding hard at the ground level. So when we reach to that, elder level, we accomplished a lot. So we have a lot of resources to give the woman that we are with. So they get the
Mm-hmm.
best of us in our prime, which is in our elder years, where we have stacked up and accumulated so much wealth and growth and money and stability. So that way, we could provide for them in all aspects of it. And that's why a lot of men that are older tend to um, get younger women because of younger women like to spend money. So as an older man, you have the money to play. You say you have if you pay, you play. And those older men are able to play because they accumulated over the time. But when it comes to women, you don't have that. You don't have that type of luxury because men want a woman in her prime years, the young,
Mm-hmm.
fit, firm, fine. And when you get older, your body wears down. I mean, that's just natural genetics. You're going to lose that prime shape and things like that. Now, you might be an exception. There are some 60, 50, 60-year-old women that's, got a nice shape. I'll give Jada Pinkett's mom she has an incredible shape. Angela Bassett has a credible shape for her age. You do have some women out there that do keep themselves up, but it's not the norm. It's not the everyday. So that's why when a woman is in her prime, you get a man, you lock him down, and you ride out. You don't get a man and then you and 50 years old, you want to get rid of him to go play in the field. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. So
No.
I think she took an L on that. A lot of women will sit back and applaud her for it because, you know, the thing about it is women like to cheer people on when they can relate to it. And the problem is a lot of women have a lot of failed relationships because they're not choosing wisely. They're not picking the right mate. So if you have a woman that's not picking the right mate, she might go through 5 or 6 dudes within a year because of not being able to pick correctly, and you're just picking based on looks or something that they kind of captivated you with. A lot of times is guys will pick up a woman quick based on her needs, based on her emotional needs or her love languages. So if a woman is lacking in something and she runs across a brother that fulfills her in that moment, she's not going to take the time to really thoroughly go through with the guy. Some women normally just attach themselves to a guy based on how he made her feel at that moment. And sometimes women get caught up in the whirlwind of how they feel at that moment and think that that guy is the right guy for her instead of vetting somebody out in the process. So when you don't vet right and you don't move right, you end up becoming into failed situations. And when failed situations build up, then now you already have a pre-notion, you have a narrative out there that's very negative, especially towards men. So when some woman says, you know, I want to break up with my man to go explore the dating scene, you're going to encourage that because you have so many failed relationships. There's nothing positive out of your life. So you're like, yeah, go ahead and do it because I feel like I'm in this, I'm living myself through your shoes. So, you know, go out there and do it. I'm gonna support you. And, you know, we hear a lot of times that a lot of women give other women bad advices. We don't give them even good
all the time.
examples because, you know,
Single
exactly.
women,
So
other women
it's like
single.
they fail each other. Yes, they fail each other. And the problem, a lot of times women have to realize what's going on and take control of their situation and not be influenced by women because women will definitely they will definitely promote you to a failed relationship, right? And we can basically move it on to this subject right here, right? So
Woo!
This is a prime example of how women will help you to be in a state of mind where you get caught up in some bull crap based on what they're cheering you on, right? So here you have Sierra. So Sierra ends up creating a song that says, she dropped a song recently that says, we don't need men. You need to be independent. You don't need no man. Go out there, be independent, do your thing. That's the synopsis of it, right? And women are giving Sierra the backlash for it because you already know Sierra has been highlighted and praised by a lot of women through the Sierra prayer. You know, that's a very common thing. Everybody wants to be Sierra based on her man, Russell Wilson. So they felt like Sierra was the Cinderella story. She got with Future, it didn't work out. She left Future and got a dude total opposite of Future and living a lavish lifestyle of what she wasn't before and having a man that basically over worships her to the point where every woman now wants that same results. And Russell Wilson is a one of a kind. I'm gonna just put it like that. He's a one of a kind. This guy is a super. Some people see him as a super simp, right? Even if you call him a simp, he's still a one of a kind. He's not an average simp. This guy goes above and beyond, like surpasses simp level. Like I think simp is pretty much, yeah. I think he's like super simp, right? So
yeah.
Even if you don't see him as that, he's still one of a kind. He's not the average guy. The average guy don't function the way he functions. So the reality of you finding a Russell Wilson is not going to be something that's going to hit in your favorite percentage wise. You know, that's kind of like a once in a unicorn type thing. And she was lucky enough to find a guy like that, especially based on her past resume. So now she makes this song, talking about this, everybody praising her relationship, and she comes all the way left and makes this song about being independent. You don't need no man. So now you have, I'm going to show you guys a couple of screenshots of women that been really getting in Sierra's butt because she's getting a lot of backlash from it, right? So it says, Sierra, this one girl writes, Sierra, please stop this now. We're tired of being independent. We want a life like yours. Please stop promoting this type of music when you are going straight home to get loved on. Right? Here's another
Yep.
one. The audacity with this big ass ring on her finger. Nobody don't feel like being independent and paying all the bills by themselves. Right? Then the next one. I love Sierra, but it's obvious when she is just trying to make a song for the sake of a hit, talking about all the girls who don't need no man. Like we are all grown and want the same as you, sis. You know, people are seeing through it. Keep going, right? Happily married woman making single music is my favorite genre of irony. Right? And one more, me searching for the girls that asked for this song. And it's like, you're not going to find those type of girls, right? Because it's reality is nobody wants that. You can't portray
Bruh.
one thing and then sit back and tell other women to go out there, we don't need no man, but you're being loved on. You're being seen, overly loved on. This man shows up to your video shoots with extra roses in his hands. He took his stepson, which is your son, under his wing and treating him like his son. You know, anything you want, he does it for you. He talks about you all the time in public. Women want that. You can't tell them that they have to take the opposite and you're enjoying the fruits of the labor. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to sit here and tell you, hey, it don't make no sense for y'all to come inside this house. We got all this food out here, man. Y'all run out there and go out there and try to kill your food and eat it and survive out there. But I'm going to be in here and I'm going to eat all the food that's nicely prepared and cooked on the stove and everything like that. They're going to look at you like, hell no, I'm not going to want to be out. I don't want to be out here savaging and trying to run up and down these woods looking for some food when I could be in the house enjoying the meal like you. It doesn't make sense. And this is what happens. A lot of women keep other women single. That's what we talk about, that prime example. You guys want to give a go on Sierra and her mythical rants?
You know, one of my favorite sayings ever is always three things cannot be long hid: the sun, the moon, and the truth. I remember way back when, way fourscore and 11 years ago, many moons ago, many moons ago, there was a woman by the name of Beyonce. You might have heard of her. She was a really big deal in this lifetime. And I remember she dropped the song that was a hit. It was a banger. It had the clubs knocking, had the party scene going. You heard it at reunions. You heard it at barbecues. Very catchy, very upbeat, very up tempo. Hella BPM beats per minute. All the single ladies, all the single ladies. And I remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers. I remember very well the dudes that were in the know, the dudes that were wise. They commented and they critiqued the song. They weren't hating on it. They weren't hating on the song. Probably some were, but for the most part, it was coming from the place. And they said, "Y'all women need to stop," because that song became an anthem. I mean, you almost weren't even a woman if you weren't banging that song in your Honda, in your Nissan, whatever you were driving. That was it. That was the jam. You was a boss, bitch. But the wise dudes were saying, y'all need to ignore this song. I don't know why y'all turned this into an anthem. This woman got all y'all out here dancing in a circle to the song, talking about all the single ladies, all the single ladies, hyping up being single and being by yourself. And she goes home to her husband every night. Her very rich, very wealthy husband every single night with the kids.
Yeah.
And I remember the women was clapping back. They went ahead and they swarmed up. They formed Voltron. They Power Ranger Morphers and they joined forces.
Right.
Any man that had something to say like that, they got on them.
Yeah.
But time reveals all. So here we are. It's the year 2023. Sierra decided she's going to go ahead and dig in the Beyonce playbook, pull the same thing, and we're going to make a single boss bitch independent ladies anthem. Worked well back then. So the question is, how did single ladies age? Not too
Mm.
well. Now the women ain't jumping at it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
We see how far we've come since that song came out, and the reality is, well, how did this age? What did this do for you? Was this really an anthem that you could get behind? Was this really a song that you want to find your life by? Is this going to make you happy and fulfilled? And apparently the verdict is no. No.
Real talk.
We see what's out here. We've been the independent woman. We've been the boss fish. We've been this, that, all that. We don't like it.
Mm.
Tired, boss.
Yeah. How about that?
We're tired of having to go ahead and eat and kill our own food, like Aaron was talking about, and catching and eating what we kill. We tired of having to go and clock out of this job for this boss that don't really care about us. Working us hard. We got to come home. Bills need to be paid. We got to clean. We got to cook. If we cook, we got to shop outwards. We got kids we got to care for. We got to do it all by ourselves. This ain't it, cuz.
Real talk.
And the sad part is, like I said, we had people back there that was sounding the alarm, and they wasn't hearing it.
Mm-hmm. Here we are.
Time reveals all.
Heavy.
Yeah.
So now the question is, now that we understand, now that we see the trick bag, we see the game for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are we gonna humble ourselves, eat some crow, and decide we gonna get our heads out of our asses and do the smart thing, make the wise move, or are we gonna continue to be stuck on stupid? The choice is yours. Now, fighting back against this propaganda being put out, that's a good first step. But now it goes beyond just saying, well, we don't like the music. What's your life gonna look like? Are you gonna not just say we don't want to bump the music no more, but are we gonna stop living the lives that help influence these songs?
Right.
Are we gonna behave and conduct ourselves like women who are serious about attracting healthy, masculine men who are protectors, who are providers, who are willing to care for us, take care of our needs, and be good women to them in return? Be good, feminine, nurturing, caring women who are going to support that vision and empower him to go ahead and make this household great. You'll see.
Exactly.
I'm not too sure, but my permission.
So you don't want a gangster bitch, Bob?
You see, and that's the
The
thing, right?
devil know who to try, and it ain't me.
You don't want a gangster bitch?
The devil know who to try, and it ain't Enough said.
So, ladies, you got to understand what's going on. You either are going to be in a loving, feminine space and energy with a man, or you're going to live life like this. And this is going to be Tia Mowry right here.
I got a career, so like right now I'm probably booked every day of the week. So I probably have like one day to go get fucked, and I want a nigga to beat the mark.
She said, hold on.
No, wait. Don't let her skip that. That's the important part. She wants.
I'm really busy. I got a career, so like right now I'm probably booked every day of the week. So I probably have like one day to go get fucked, and I want a nigga to beat the Mario coins out this ass.
So she said,
Oh, poor baby.
So you
Oh,
that's
Lord.
what you're gonna.
It
That's
is
what you're gonna
a
result to,
dark
right?
life that gotta
You're
take you
gonna
down
get
to
to a
that
point.
point.
Yeah, you're gonna get to that point where it's just gonna be a sexual thing. And like Suki said, she's like, listen, I don't have time. I'm trying to run around and do all this career and everything like this. And I just want to do to beat the Mario coins out this cooch. Like that's where your mentality and your mind's gonna end up at, right? So you're gonna have a dude just boxing your box up and coins rumbling out of your stuff, and you're gonna be cool with that, if that's what you like. It's either or. You know what I mean? That's what it is. If you're at an age where you're outside of your prime years, you're going to have to take what comes to you. You don't have that type of what they say leverage, as the younger women. And when you even look at it from the perspective of strippers and dancers, right? Like when you're a seasoned dancer, it comes a time where these young girls are knocking you off. Like if you ever watch P-Valley, like we'll take I forgot what the name of the main girl was at Mississippi. This is the exact same thing with those two, because the main girl was a seasoned stripper and she was losing her touch. Now Mississippi comes in and Mississippi is like doing all types of tricks. She bringing the whole city out. So guess what? She has to, the Mercedes. Okay, so it's Mercedes and Mississippi. So now Mercedes has to get what's coming her way. You know what I'm saying? And she's not getting much. And she ends up having to do her deals outside of the club. That's how bad it gets, right? So shout out to you for saying Mercedes. I appreciate that, Mona. Telling me it's Mercedes. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name. But Mercedes was in that situation where, she was getting pushed out by these young girls because these girls was in their prime. Their bodies were banging. They had more energy and the stamina was just there. Mercedes was kind of banged up, had a little sore knee was out of place, couldn't move and function the way she used to, and that's what happens with women. You have to take advantage of your prime years, because when after that, you goes downhill. It's that used car on the lot competing with the showroom car. You're not going to get the attention as a showroom car. So is the used car, people are going to come to you if the price is right.
Yeah.
If the price is right, you're going to get snatched up.
I know a lot of women don't like those car analogies, but they fit very well. The thing is, as people, we don't change too much in terms of our mindset. What I mean by that, I don't mean in terms of maturity, but when it comes to attraction is very much a science. The things that attract men and the things that attract women don't really change too much as we get older. There might be slight tweaks here and there, but the core elements of what men are attracted to or women are attracted to, that doesn't really change. Women are attracted to looks to an extent, but women are also, just as importantly, if not more so, they're attracted to stability. They're attracted to men who look strong. That's why typically dudes will go and dudes who are strong, they have muscles or they're clearly in shape. Dudes like that typically have women, fawning over them. We always see women fawning over guys like back in the day would be people like Wesley Snipes, but a lot of these dudes that we think of that are heartthrobs, strong, jacked in some cases, or even if they're not overly muscular, they just have that lean muscle. But dudes that look like they're fit and are relatively reasonably able to protect and defend. They're attracted to men who are able to be stable financially. So a dude that ain't broke. Even on the low tier, even with the younger people, you hear a lot of girls when they're in their late teens or their 20s. One of the things they'll talk about is they want a man who has his own car. They don't want a man who's able to get from here to there. A man who has economic stability.
Yep.
Not a man who's broke and living from paycheck to paycheck. They want a man who's able to take care of himself. Even if they don't want his resources, they just want to know and have comfort knowing that their man is straight.
Right.
That doesn't change. Even if what they look for physically may change, those things don't change. You've never heard a woman that said, I want me a broke man. Girl, how broke is he? What? He makes beneath minimum wage. He didn't get tipped up properly. Ooh, is he in debt too? Girl, you've never heard that. You never will. If you hear it, get a baker at it. There's a screw loose up here somewhere. I've never heard a woman say, girl, he's so weak. Girl, how weak is he? He asked me to open the pickle jar for him. You've never heard it. You've never heard it, and you never will. These are things that don't change.
They
And
don't.
with men, it's no different. Men are attracted
Yeah.
to beautiful women. Now, she don't
Exactly.
necessarily got to be a stone cold 10, a knockout, but she can't be out here looking like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Listen, let me tell you, Bob,
Men want, we're talking about who is settling down with.
Bob.
Men want a woman that they can take out to IHOP or Denny's, not just at 3 in the morning, but at 3 in the afternoon, where
Real
people can
talk.
actually see y'all together. And you
Real
ain't got to
talk.
like I get you ashamed and embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Men want attractive women. Also, because men, for the most part, were very much legacy minded. So, especially those who don't have children, we're interested in women who are able to successfully bear our children. The
Yes.
older you get, menopause is creeping up. Once you hit 35, 40, really, but once you start hitting 35, in some women's cases, a lot younger based on family history, complications arise.
Mm-hmm.
Now it might be difficult to produce a healthy child. You might be more of a risk for having miscarriages. In some cases, you get menopause early. I know a couple of women who, in their families, the women that window is a lot shorter for them. I know some
Yeah.
who sweat bullets as soon as 30 comes because they start wondering if they're going to be able to have more kids or have any kids.
Mm.
And then there's also complications. Even if you can have a child successfully, is it going to be high risk? Might you
Correct.
have to make a decision where we have to choose between the baby or the mother? Or in some cases, will the child be born without deformity? So will the child be at an increased risk for having some physical ailments? Might be some heart defects coming out
Mm-hmm.
premature. And
Hmm.
again, this is if a woman is otherwise in healthy shape. If she has other factors like she's obese or she's overweight and she doesn't lose weight before getting pregnant, these are all the things that occur. So a
Mm.
woman who appears to be in the best shape for these things is going to be ahead of the pack. Is she
Right.
a nurturer? Is she loving? Is she
Mm-hmm.
someone that you actually want to? Can she make a house a home? Is
Right.
she someone that
Correct.
you can't wait to go home and see after work? Or is she one of those women where when you get home, you just want to sit in the car for an hour or two because you just gotta get the strength? I, I know men who will share this.
Real talk.
They get home, they literally gotta work up the energy to get in the door.
Real talk. Now,
Yes,
Bob, let
exactly.
me tell you something. Let me
That's
tell you
that.
something.
Yeah.
And you a married man, and you a sensibly married man, so I know that these are things that you check for. So this ain't. I'm not just spitballing out here. I'm not just
Now,
pulling stuff out my rear.
Yeah.
bruh, one of the reasons that I wanted to marry this young lady is because I'm always so happy to come home to her. And she's always so
Yeah.
happy to come home to me. But Bob, let me go back. First of all, let me get on Sierra's little ass. Sierra, and this mindless, senseless pandering, you know what I'm saying, to these lowbrow women. You know what I'm saying? First of all,
Yeah.
I said this earlier when somebody was talking, if Sierra's going to be pandering, she needs to be pandering to a vocal coach somewhere. That's who she needs to be pandering to. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
let's keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is she putting out lately? You feel me? But those things aside, this whole weird space, it's another weird space, man, where you got these old broads out here, trying to put out these city girl anthems, bro. It just looks ridiculous. There's something called age appropriate music. And there's something called just age appropriate behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Sierra is constantly promoting, somebody put this out, you're a married woman and you're constantly promoting single woman thought culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why are you twerking on the gram while you're pregnant?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you
Yeah.
got a man that we all know is a man of God. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And this is how you carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is just how you comport yourself. My mom actually brought some of this stuff to my attention because I don't really care about Sierra like that. I don't really notice her like that. She's just
Yeah.
always dressing like a whore. And
Yeah.
she has this man, who's a man of God. She always running around half naked. She always, pussy popping on the gram, this and that, like a common woman. Like a common woman is the word my mom used. I'm like, whoa, I didn't really notice it, but I started paying attention, and she's right. And when you get to a certain age, you gotta understand, like Bobby said, like I said, like Ant says, like most men say all the time, and women want to constantly put up this argument that it's not true. It somehow just isn't true. No, what are you talking about? No, the LeBron Jameses of the world are proactively choosing the Gabby Sidibe's as their first pick. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Correct.
Right.
In the multiverse. Yes.
Women say this all the time as if they keep telling this lie, and it's somehow going to manifest itself, and somehow they're going to, because what they're really saying most of the time is, or what they're really upset about most of the time is, you're saying that these high value men that are out here don't want me. So a lot of the time, they keep saying this over and over and over, like, if you keep saying it, then it's somehow going to be true that you're what they want, or your friends are the type of women that they want, and it's just not the case. The men, generally speaking, poor dudes, are out here looking for the fine chick that's trim and fit, that like Bobby said, is gonna be able to give them a legacy, whatever the case may be. Yeah, there may be some exceptions here and there, but the rule is that, there's the same way that men have to accept the rule. The most beautiful women and the most what's the other case? The most beautiful and the highest up woman, or whatever the case may be. They want those type of women want guys who are wealthier, guys who are financially stable. And if you're not a dude who's paid, a lot of time, you're just not going to qualify for those type of women. As men, we have to accept that. As women, they don't feel like they need to accept anything that is a truth. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, okay, this is what all the men are saying. 100 men could be saying this on a thread. Nope, that's not what y'all want. Nope, that's not what y'all like. XYZ, blase, squaze. Man, we have to be honest with ourselves, man. That's all I'm saying. And Ciara, I would just like to see her. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, okay, I was going to ask you this question because JB just brought up this question, right? So she says Ciara was an entertainer before she was married with Russell. So she is supposed to stop being herself, which is a dancer, now that she's married.
You can dance without dancing in a sexualized manner. I mean, no, I think Ciara's probably one of the best dancers ever in the game. To be quite honest with dancing.
Out of all the entertainers right now, we're talking now in terms of vocals, she's not gonna touch a Beyonce. There's a whole grocery list of singers who are better than Ciara. Not saying that she can't sing, but in terms of her actual dancing ability, her choreography and everything, she's got that down. But here's my question. Why is it that we are assuming that she can only dance one particular way?
Right.
So, because she's a dancer, now I'm not saying that she does this, but let me just ask, since we're trying to pigeonhole people into one particular lane.
Right.
So, if she's good at dancing like a stripper, does she have to stay dancing like a stripper? Can't she go and toss some new elements? And can she add some breakdance type elements to her style? Maybe take some Latin style dancing or whatever. Does she have to be pigeonholed into this? Because we're making it sound as if she can't do one particular type of dance that is below appropriate, she can't do anything. And if you know anything about the world of dance, then you know that dance is vast. There's all kind of styles, all kind of everything out there. And especially if you're talented like her, you can coordinate and switch it up. And she's a sister, so we got that style, that rhythm, we have that creativity in us, so we can take anything and make it fly.
Of course. Sierra's a badass dancer. She's a beast at
Very.
dancing. She does that well. That's the
Oh,
one thing she does well. But I take exception to the fact that because a certain type of dance that she was doing was criticized, that we automatically associate dancing with sexualization. That's I know a
Yeah.
bunch of people that she can get down, and some of her best dancing is when she's not doing all this over sexualized type of stuff. I didn't say anything about her dancing. I was speaking specifically about her twerking on Instagram, while she's pregnant. And a lot of people actually, sisters were the ones who were actually the most upset about that. I didn't even know about it. And
um,
sisters were like, man, look at this chick out here, just kind of, I'm not gonna say what they said, I'm trying to be cool, but sisters were not amused, you know what I mean? And yeah, you can dance without being sexualized. And you can get on you don't have to do it on Instagram. You don't have to pussy pop on Instagram to dance. That's just false.
Okay. So I just want to say this real quick. This is the link. Anybody that want to jump on with us real quick and explain yourself, so that way you don't have to go ahead and type a whole 20 paragraph. I mean, you can do it. We're not sitting here limiting you to text, but we're giving you the
good finger
option
exercise.
to jump on with us by clicking the link, and we'll definitely
Yep.
add you in, and you can have this conversation with us. We don't shy away from it. I know,
Yeah.
I know Camilla was saying broad is very disrespectful. I don't use that term, the broad, but at the end of the day, I think Major was saying broad. Or who said broad? You, Major, or
I said,
Bobby?
bro.
Yeah, you said broad. Well, I think you
Could
were
have been either
saying
one.
it in a way
I think
of
so.
and basically saying that what if somebody's doing something disrespectful, it's broad like activities. It's a broad like way. I
Pretty
mean,
much.
he wouldn't be sitting there giving credit to Sierra and then saying, as far calling her broad like that. He's just saying in the perspective of that's broad like behavior. All
It
right.
is.
Correct.
So okay, so Camilla says, do you feel the same way about J-Lo dancing? Yes, I feel the same way about
Yeah.
J-Lo. I don't understand why people think that because people are from different ethnicity that it's different. J-Lo, look what J-Lo's going through. J-Lo went through what, 4 or 5, what, three
And
marriages
husbands.
or something like that?
No, proposals and engagements. And then,
And
like, I think,
engagement.
yeah,
J-Lo is real life Thanos. She has
Okay, she
she
went.
has the Infinity Stones,
ridiculous.
all of them.
Why do you
All of
think
them.
that
Yeah,
is?
and that's
Is the question.
what and that's what I'm saying. A lot of times people don't understand the behavior behind it. It basically predicts where you head in the future. This, with the raunchy dance and who she's lined up with, these are the type of things when you deal with high value men. We're talking about everybody always talk about high value men, but they don't want to. You only want to talk about it in the aspects of money. But when it's not in the aspects of money, you're talking about morals, codes, the way you're supposed to carry yourself. Remember, when
Yes.
I sit back and I take you as my wife, there's a level of expectancy of respect that I need from you. There's
Correct.
things even as a man that I have to give to you once I get married to you. There's a lot of things that I have to cut back on in order to show you respect. Because before I got married to you, I could walk in and out this house any damn way I please. But guess what? Now that I'm married to you, I have to be conscious about that. I can
Correct.
walk out this door and I don't have to call nobody, not my mama, not my best friend, nobody to tell them where I'm going. When I get married to you, I have to call you and tell you where my whereabouts. You're my other half. You're supposed to know my movements. Because if something happened to me, you're my wife. You're supposed to know what's going on. So that
Correct.
you can tell the police, the authorities, or family members exactly what happened. You know the timeline. There's a level of code of conduct and a level of respect that mutual partners have to give to them. I don't understand why we live in this world of women that, it just kills me when we get in this world of women that have this 100 years of women and this feminist rights that goes on. Yes, I get it that women have gone through a lot and they're becoming better. And that's why we put Queen Check, and we have a dope queen at the end of this segment to show you guys of the immaculate things that they do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when we look at that, you have to take it in perspective of we're talking about a healthy relationship. We're talking about somebody that I respect and I admire. If I'm in that realms, then I have to give my mate that respect, and I, as a mate, have to give my mate as that honor of respect as well. We talk about Rihanna. I mean, not Rihanna, but we talk about Ciara and her dancing, but her man just inked the deal for 250 million. We're talking about when we talk about traditional women, she doesn't need to work anymore. What are you talking about dancing? There's no supposed to be no more dancing. That's beneath you. There's levels that you climb up with in your marriage. There's levels in your life that you say, I don't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's the point. That is the point.
Exactly. You're in the we could go back to, like I was saying, about professional dancers. There's levels of professional dancers. When you reach a certain level at a dancer, you thinking outside the club. You're not thinking about staying in this club and competing with these young women. You're trying to garner yourself and set yourself up into an environment where you're like, I don't even want to think about that no more. I just want that to be my past. And that's what Ciara should be thinking about. This is my past. A lot of times people don't understand we tend to roll with things a lot longer than we're supposed to. We're supposed to dead certain things off in different areas. When we grow, certain things die off. This is why a lot of y'all that are married don't have the same friends that you all have before y'all got married. And the reason is a lot of these people that they die off in the process of you elevating to your different stages. And that's how life, that's growth. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with it. It's growth. Everybody's not supposed to meet you at every level of your life. And there's things that in your life you're supposed to get rid of and then work on something else. You'll have people that give up certain things that used to be their passion to create another passion. Whether she give up dancing and go start painting, or start doing her own aerobics class or something. You have to elevate. You can't be stuck in the same mentality that you were from the very get-go. You're a seasoned woman now. You can injure yourself through dancing. It's high risk for you now. Get off of that. Stop trying to be the dancer. It's like the little local drug dealer, like selling nickels and dimes his whole life. Like, when do you elevate up to be the plug? When do you elevate to be the plug? And guess what? When you elevate to be the plug, you don't deal with the low-level guys you dealt with when you were a 5 nickel dime selling dude. You're dealing with other plugs. You're dealing with guys under you. Right. So you have a chain of command now. Yeah. So I didn't want to take the time to say that. Like I say, you guys have the link. You guys can jump on here. I'm not taking it personal to anybody. I'm telling you guys straight up of what it is and how it is going down. I know that a lot of you are women, and sometimes you might have skewed vision or tunnel vision based on your experiences. But we're talking from a broad band of men who think like that. I can never tell you how a woman functions. I can't go on a woman's platform and say, no, this is it. No, a woman's they're going to tell you what they want on a general consensus level of what they want from a man. I have to be the person to listen to that and say, you know what? It sounds right. You're right about that. If you're not out here dating women like that on a mass level, you don't know what we go through. You don't know what we talk about. The barbershop talks that we talk about. You know, you don't know that. So that's why I'm saying to you, on this level, we're talking about it on a wide scale level. I know you have anomaly and personal levels, but there's different from mass wide level statistics. It's different. Just like a child's father, right? Y'all talk about baby daddies, and we have this mad myth in our community that Black men don't take care of their children. Why? Because we have a lot of Black women that have children from guys that don't take care of their children, right? But that don't mean that's majority. It's just everybody you around having an issue, you having an issue, so you think that Black men don't take care of their children. And on a CDC level, which is a mass level, they have a bunch of information, a bunch of statistics that tell you that Black men are ranked the number one fathers inside and outside the home. That doesn't mean that every father inside a two household. No, outside the household, meaning that they probably have children from other women and they still functioning to take care of their children better than any other race of men. And most of them, you guys think that white men take care of their children, and that's far from the truth, because white men come in third, and Hispanics beat out white men. So, you know, the statistics are there on a mass level, and when we talk about this is why Manifestations is so powerful, because we talk about it on a mass level. We don't talk about it on an anomaly level. So I know a lot of times y'all relate on an anomaly level and not a mass level. So I just want everybody to hit the button real quick, hit the like button, like, share, pass it on. If you have somebody that's bold enough to come on here and talk, tell them that their link is in the comments. They can jump on here with us. We don't have a problem with that. So I'll pass it over to you guys and let you guys finish up on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really a very simple thing. You never hear other ethnicities discuss the flaws of women in their race, only us.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
What are you talking about?
They do. They do.
It's just entirely false.
I'm telling you, they do. I've seen it plenty of times.
The whole
white community,
the whole red pill movement, the whole manosphere. Now, it's been, as is always the case, Black men made it pop off and made it something that was catapulted into the mainstream. But the red pill movement, that's been around at least since the 90s, I think the late 90s, and it was white men who were the creators of that.
Oh,
the founder of the red pill manosphere movement was what's his name? Rollo Tomassi. A Greek cat, I believe. Rollo Tomassi. He's the father, the founder, if you want to think about that, or at least the person who really started making inroads in with the whole red pill movement. Black men didn't really come into that until about, I think, like the 2010s or so, and that's why you're only now hearing some of these different ideas and topics. You're hearing the terms red pill and stuff. When white men were having the run of that by themselves, it wasn't taken off.
Yeah,
Black people came in, and like we do with everything else we touch, we made it pop off. We made it mainstream. We made it common table talk.
Right.
But these ideas have been out there for a long time, and some of the views definitely can go into the extreme outliers in terms of what's really rational, even what's functional. But for the most part, it's about complaints that not just white men, but Black men and other men of different ethnicities have about women overall. Now, the extent they take some of them is really way out there into the wild. But overall, there's a lot of issues and complaints that men in general are having with women in general, and it speaks to that.
Right. And
so you have to bear in mind, this isn't only we do this. No.
No.
If that was the case, then you couldn't have an abundance of white men going abroad to people like to talk about passport bros and everything. White men have been leaving white women for Asian women for longest. For the longest.
Yes. They started it.
And we don't even have to go that. We don't have to go even into that, right? Because we can even talk about the Arabs, right? We're talking about the Indian men. The Indian men they have so much scrutiny for their women. Their women can't
It's
even
ridiculous.
wear regular clothes like other
Nah,
women.
you
You
can only
get
show your eyes.
beheaded.
You can only show
Yes,
your
you
eyes.
can.
You can be stoned to
You
death
can
for
only
cheating. What are
show
you
your
talking about?
eyes. You get
Nah,
beheaded in their
that's
country
entirely
for
false.
doing disrespectful stuff.
And even the
We
men that
as
aren't
black men,
practicing
The Asians drown their female babies, by the way.
Islam and whatever, but dude, just based on culture, some of them they might not subscribe to that particular law of Islam. But even the dudes that are agnostic or atheist or have other practices, they still uphold that same level of modesty and scrutiny in their households and in their families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
exactly.
do. And
And
this is the
remember,
thing. Look,
growing up,
good. Mm-hmm.
black women scrutinized us the most. You know why? Because
I was
when
about
we
to go
were
there.
growing up, huh?
I
When
was
we were
about to go
growing
there.
up,
Mm-hmm.
remember, black women used to tell young black children and well, I would say young black boys, pull your pants up, comb your
Mm-hmm.
hair, do this. They would groom you to fit in the presence of being close to what white would accept. So it was always black men have always through their life through black women have always been going through scrutiny even since puberty.
Well,
Oh, your
I
hair
would
too
say,
nappy.
well, yeah,
Pull your
yeah.
pants up, tie your shoelace, do this posture, and it wasn't said for you to make your child better. It was said because you wanted them to look good in front of white folks. That was the real bottom line to why that was done that way. So we've always been through scrutiny. That's just how it is. That's just the American life that we do.
Look,
You're going to always point out flaws, no matter what side of the fence you fall on. You're going to have flaws, and you're
yeah.
going to point them out in that realm. Go ahead,
And
Major.
listen, this is the thing, man. At the end of the day, I spoke about this earlier. I don't know if they were paying attention. You know, this is something that we need to do. This show, when we talk about things that are plaguing the community, you know, the idea is for us to discuss them and come up with solutions to them. You understand? That's it. So if we don't talk about these things, they never get resolved, you know, and this is where being mature and being able to have mature dialogue about things kicks in. I didn't say anything about this young lady still talking about Sierra dancing. The issue was not with Sierra dancing. I'm going to say this again. It's the sexualized manner with which she's always putting herself out there in these spaces to make herself look like, you know, like the sister said who sent me the text, like a common hood rat. And you're married to this high level dude. What? Who else's wife is out there twerking on the gram in the NFL? Why are you out there embarrassing this man like this?
No,
That's
I
the
don't see
bottom
none.
line. You understand what I'm saying? Show some respect. And that's not too much to ask. You understand what I'm saying? You're in this weird space where you expect all of this. Oh, provide for me. Oh, protect me. Oh, this. Okay, you got that. And you can't show simple respect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I said she's one of the best dancers anywhere. But the way she carry herself is often in a way that doesn't look like a married woman carries herself. Why is that so hard to understand? You understand what I'm
Well,
saying?
Even
You can
and if
dance
we're gonna be, if we're gonna be,
pussy popping on a
and
handstand. It's possible. You can dance without pussy popping on the handstand. You dig?
yeah, I
let
mean,
me
You
speak
you
to
get
that though,
that, right?
because
it goes
I
back
know
to the
some people
whole.
will come and say, wait, and let me tag in this real quick. I'm gonna let you
Go
hop
ahead,
in.
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
I know some people are thinking. I know a lot of people are gonna say and think, well, that's between the two of them. She's with Russell. Russell must like it. He's married to her, and there is a point to that. Well,
Yeah,
ultimately, because the relationship is between those two people.
true.
Those two people have agreed to what it is that they're going to get down to, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. We're talking about in general. We're not talking about some outliers,
Right.
because in most cases that is not going to fly with men. At least men of
Exactly.
substance. When you're dealing with dudes who are just from the gutter, dudes from the trash, whatever, dudes who don't have anything to lose, who don't
Right.
go anywhere, who don't do anything, who aren't about anything, who aren't elevating,
Yeah.
that's a no brainer. I've spoken with brothers who were big time corporate executives. I actually have spoken a number of times with a brother who's actually a corporate trainer. He actually coaches CEOs and executives on how to do better in the professions. And we've had a number of talks, and he's had one conversation with me where he actually stressed how, in those circumstances, in those circles, your wife is everything. A lot of
Yes.
these women actually, based on how they carry and conduct themselves, they actually basically seal deals for their men behind closed doors. A lot of these women will go to the soccer practices. They'll go out to these events with the kids. They'll go to other places, and they sit and they actually are right there discussing business with the other wives. They're
Right.
learning things about the men. They go back and they talk to the husband. They give them all kind of game and all kind of insight that they can use when they're doing business and networking with other men. They're talking with them, letting them know this is who you need to talk to. This is what the interests are. They're analyzing. They're conducting themselves a certain way. You're not going to be able to go in these certain circles and thrive if you have a wife that's conducting themselves like they're for the streets. It's not going to work.
Period.
Now, a dude that don't go nowhere, don't do nothing, he just goes to work, gets money, and comes back. He works his job that earns however much, his 41K, 51K, 71K, 81K, and that's fine. You don't have to worry about that in some
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah.
But even then, one of the things that matters most to human beings is actually status. They've done a number of studies on this, and they've determined that the number one thing that matters more to people than fame, wealth, and everything else is status.
Correct.
You want to, even if you aren't somebody, you want to feel like you're somebody. And your
Right.
spouse is reflecting you. You want someone that you can be proud of. There isn't a woman alive that wants a husband or wants a man associated with them that they feel like they're taking an L with. But they feel like maybe, everyone else, unless she's come to a point where she's at the end of the line and she realizes, I ain't got no other options, I got to make this one count. Every woman wants to be able to have a sense of pride about their husband.
Yep.
It's the same for men. Men want to have a sense of pride about their wife. They want men to be able to say, "That's your wife? Yeah, that's her." And not
Yeah.
because they want to get her in bed, but because she commands respect. Think of the way people revere Angela Bassett, Felicia Rashad.
Great example.
These
Great
women who are at the top of their fields, well respected. And one of the things that's always commented on is how they carry themselves.
Yes.
They're beautiful women. They're definitely not hurt in the looks department. They look excellent for their ages. They handle themselves well. Any man that has half of an IQ percentage point would love to have a woman of that level, that caliber, that represents them well like that.
Yep.
And some dudes want that and don't even know that that's even possible for them. So they'll accept a lot of bad behaviors because they don't think they can get better.
Right.
You don't want to be someone that a man settles with, where if he could have a woman that was this level, he'd leave you in a heartbeat for that. You don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Real talk.
We have a responsibility to each other. And that's something else that we don't really like to discuss. We don't like to have a responsibility to our mates. We want them to have responsibility towards us. We don't want to have to live up to anything for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we have to change too often. And it's a male and a female issue. It's not a case of, oh, it's only the women. No, this goes both ways. But this week is about the ladies, fellas. We're going to get our day out in the sun next week.
Well, let me point this
But
out.
if
Go
you are a
ahead.
wife, you have a responsibility to your mate. We got to stop finessing each other. We're trying to get away with doing the bare ass minimum for the person we say that we love, the person that's supposed to have access to us, head, heart, and soul like nobody else. We're supposed to give our absolute best for that person
Yeah.
always. We're not supposed to be trying to shortchange that person. And if you're in a situation like that where you don't feel inspired to give your best, then you know what? Maybe you should pull a Tia Mowry and leave that man.
Mm.
Maybe you need to find a man that you feel that way about. And if for some reason the man that you feel that way about, you can't see the access, you might need to do some internal tweaking. Go ahead, Major.
No, I just wanted to add in there, speaking about the sister said that You never hear other ethnicities discuss flaws of other women and their race only us. I would like to point out that on this show, most of the time, we discuss the flaws within men. I'm going to say that again. Most of the time on this show, when we're discussing flaws, we often discuss the flaws within men. We've talked about low energy guys and, going out picking low hanging fruit and, things that brothers don't need to be doing. Even today, we're talking about, hey, as men, we need to get off of these certain types of behaviors. We literally do it all the time. But it's only a problem when we talk about the flaws of women. Nobody is above criticism. We have to get off of this thing where we think that we're above criticism. Nobody is. You understand? And if we're going to come together and grow Black love and grow Black relationships, wide scale, we need to be able to talk about things openly and understand that the things that we're talking about is coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of love. We love sisters. We highlight every week. And the sister this week is phenomenal. We highlight a sister we do a crown check every week. A sister who is worthy of praise, who is wise, who is intelligent, who is beautiful, who is this, who is that. Oh my God, these sisters last week.
We don't even do it for the fellas.
You dig? We don't even do that for the fellas. We're doing this for the sisters every week. And you know what? The type of sisters that we highlight would never exhibit that type of behavior. Okay? This is just, I mean, at the end of the day, they would never exhibit that type of behavior. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing ain't twerking on the gram while she's pregnant. You understand? The sister we're talking about today, we are highlighting and promoting the hell out of the high level sister, because on the radio and on reality TV, they're not promoting high level sisters. They're going to portray Black women as the lowest common denominator every time they get to. And you know what? Yeah. Black women applaud it. They watch it every week. They act like it's the best shit on TV. They swallow that shit hook, line, and sinker. When it comes from white media, okay? And this is constant, and this is deliberate. They're constantly portraying Black women as the chick that, every time you see her, she's going to twerk. I remember I was on a thread where we were monitoring these white supremacist chat rooms, and they were talking about Breonna Taylor's death. One of those white boys said, "I'm surprised she was home sleeping, not out somewhere twerking." We have to really be mindful of the way that we're portrayed out here. And my thing is this, we're always going to push and promote the intelligent, beautiful, upstanding, high-minded sister. That's just what we do here. Now, on other platforms, they may promote the sisters that are not particularly high-minded or whatever the case may be. And just because you twerk here or there, what, you can be having fun, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that all twerking is bad or all twerking is evil. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm speaking of a very specific instance where, I was sent some video. It was like, yo, blah, blah, blah. She's pregnant and she's on the gram and other. Oh my God. And I'm like, wow, you have to really think about the mentality of that type of person, especially when you're married to someone who is a godly person and it's a known thing. And it's like, it's just such a disrespectful thing in that regard. But, next topic, that was a spirited exchange. I like it.
No, so let's even go with criticism, right? So I'm glad Mila brought that up, because I had, and a lot of people have criticism. Now I know Mila and her family, they do have religious background, church-bound folks, and there's people on here.
Mila or Mila?
Church. Miller.
Okay.
So, we have a lot of church folks, and church folks scrutinize people, right? Church folks point out flaws heavy, right? More than anybody. So
As they should.
let me show you. So let me show you this, Mila. So they have a new church. Well, I don't know if it's new, but I think the direction that they're going now is a new direction with this church. It's called New Glow Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, Buckhead, right?
Yeah.
So what this church is doing now, I think, because churches around globally have been down a little bit, people aren't coming into the church as much, and some of that is due to COVID, right? So they're trying to get the congregation back up and running. So New Glow has this new, they have a new, what is it called? Objective, right?
Picture.
So the objective now that they're having is that they're going out promoting the with bras on, right? So now they have their congregation of women, and I don't know if these women actually go to the church, but they might be models now. That's probably a marketing ploy by the church, that they have these models now that's or these women that's posing on social media with their breasts out. They have nothing but bra on, right? So I could have posted 20 something. They have over, you guys could go to the site and see for yourself on New Glow Baptist Church site on Instagram. You'll see at least 20 plus women with their bra on and promoting this church, right? And here's another woman.
Oh God.
New Glow Baptist Church, right? So this is the new direction that they're going in. That's why when Major was saying nobody is short from criticism, because you're going to criticize. There's going to be things you're going to criticize, because we are raised on a traditional and a conservative mindset, meaning that you had a way to talk, walk, and present yourself in a way that was respectable, not only to yourself, but also to your family. You carry your family's name. So these things are major, right? So when you grew up that way, we have well, I wouldn't say privilege, but we have a right to carry our name, our family's name, and our family's tree and legacy in the most righteous and possible way possible, right? And now you have these women that's like, shoot, it's the busty movement, right? So you got these women representing New Glow Baptist Church. Now, we knew for years that there was a certain dress code when it comes to church. You couldn't wear certain attires coming into church. Even to this day, you have women in there that if your clothes are too form-fitting, they'll say, oh, you look like you just came from the club the night before, right? And they will be condemned for that. And this is what I'm saying. Nobody is sheltered or
immune from criticism. Yeah,
exactly.
Prime example. We're not supposed to criticize that? Really? Anthony, you clearly hate women. What the hell? What was that you just put up there?
Your knees are highly
we got young children. We got young children in church.
It's ridiculous.
Are we not being mindful to the children?
It's ridiculous.
And is a little boy supposed to be? Is a little boy supposed to be staring at the lady's chest like that? And you know, wouldn't that feel a little weird that you got all the children staring at this lady's chest like that? Like, it has to be some decorum.
That's an extreme. That's extreme, but that's an example of what happens when you don't check things when they're small. All things that are big were once small. The biggest tree you ever see in the forest was once a little seed, barely bigger than your fingertip. But what happens is, if you leave something alone, if you allow it to just sit and do its thing and just cultivate and get itself together, eventually it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Think about any mess in your house, or think about your car when it gets dirty. When you get one little speck of bird poop on the window, whatever, you go and you wipe it up, bam, car's spotless again, brand new. But you miss and let a day go by, you don't take that off.
Yeah.
And now dust starts packing up on there. dirt, maybe you're riding through a dusty road, it starts raining, whatever, mud starts popping up, the leaves on your cars. You leave your car alone for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you barely be able to even see in the windows because it's so dirty. And
Exactly.
then when you go to clean the car, you got to do a whole bunch of work on. You got to let it soak. You got to spray down the hose. You got to scrub it again. In some cases, you miss a spot here and there. When if you just would have address it and check it here and
Mhm.
there as you see the issue arise, you're good. Same with your house.
Yep.
If you got a couple items of clothes to wash for laundry, wash it, fold, no problem. Or you just let the clothes stack because you don't feel like doing it.
Hmm.
Now you got a whole all day task. It's gonna take you all day to wash the clothes. Got to make multiple trips. Then you got to dry and all this stuff. Then you got to go ahead and fold and hang the clothes or whatever.
Hmm.
And you really want to do it then. But if you would have done it when it was a small issue, it wouldn't have had to come to that.
Right.
We
But
have a responsibility to each other. You want to talk about the reason why we have gender warring? I'll tell you one of the reasons why we have gender wars right now, why we can't seem to get them to stop. It's because there's a whole bunch of unresolved issues that men have with women and women have with men.
right.
And because shit didn't get checked early, because the men didn't say, you know what, I have a responsibility to you, my women. Let me go ahead and tighten up. Because the women didn't say, you know what, I owe something to you. You're my man. Let's go ahead and get this together. Because both sides want to have it their way
Hmm.
and don't want there to be any give in the middle. Now we're coming to blows.
Yeah.
And because we're not isolated, because we share a plan together, we share countries together, we share space with each other. You can't just avoid the other group. And so
Nah.
now every time you see the other person, now you're reminded of this issue that's unresolved. And like anything else, you got beef with somebody, you know, time don't ease the problem. You see a person that's on site, 3 years go by, you see them in the street, it's like the issue is right back up again, especially if y'all still engage with each other. Maybe if you don't see each other, things can kind of die down some. But if you still see the same person you have a problem with all the time, they mean mugging you, you mean mugging them, you think they're saying something slick about you, you might be saying something slick about them, it just builds.
Hmm. And here we are.
That's how you get to
You
this
know,
point.
that last one, that
You can't
last
just come
slide.
together and yeah, you can't just come together and say, well, we got to stop fighting, we got to stop fighting. That's infant level thinking.
That's
That's
infantile.
toddler thinking. Anyone can say, well, we need to stop fighting. We got to address the problem. We can't come together if we don't address what's the issue in the middle in the first place.
Yes.
So if we're really
Yeah.
serious about us not being at each other's throats, not having this animosity, not having misogyny, not having misandry, then deal with the issues. Both sides have gripes. How do we get together and squash this shit and get to a neutral ground again where love can bloom,
Right.
where unity and community can bloom and develop?
Exactly. And
See,
I
look,
love.
go
Go ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Look, listen. That's one of the first things I said today. You know what I'm saying? I said the mentality that you can just kind of move on and everything's gonna be okay and not address the actual problems that we have. That is how children think. We need to be more mature in our approach to things and understand, hey, yeah, we both have legitimate, by the way, not just gripes, but legitimate gripes that need to be corrected. We need to meet each other in the middle and just work it out. It is absolutely outrageous that a church would use this type of filth and garbage as what they're using to promote their church. This is their outreach. What type of low level, low energy people must be the people that are running this church? I'm sorry that there's no way that that's acceptable. And the same type of mentality that's behind why this woman with her titties out or whatever the case may be, why that's okay to promote church, like Anthony so eloquently stated, like is the same mentality behind what we said before, this promotion of this thought culture. You know what I'm saying? There's no place for that in the church. The church is the antithesis of that. The church, yeah, you're supposed to have some type of dress code, some type of decorum, some type of respect for the Lord. That's the idea. You comport yourself a certain way when you go there. You know, when you get around people who are dignitaries, people who are respected individuals, you comport yourself a certain way, you know, and we're losing that. You know, this whole loose free-for-all culture where you can just go anywhere and do whatever and it's okay and nobody's supposed to criticize you. That's nonsense. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world, you know, to the point where it is here. You know what I mean? Like, and it's way out of control here. You know, there's a sister who was talking the other day. And by the way, shout out to the sisters. There are sisters out here who are calling this shit out with their chest. Okay, they really, really are. It was a sister the other day. You know, Pink Book Lessons. I was watching her show, and she was talking about, you know, the other episode in the restaurant. You know, where the women were they were in a restaurant, they were hanging out, and then, you know, the women got on the table, start twerking on top of the table. Then there's a whole group of them, or whatever the case may be, and the owner, you know, he tried to talk to him first or whatever, but he ended up putting them out at the end of the day. It was I think it was Turkey Leg Hut, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's an older story. Yeah, it's an older story, but I was just watching, you know, some of her stuff. And, you know, she just made a very, very important point. You know, in the middle of that, she was like, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is clearly, you know, a situation where thought culture is taking over and these women are out of order and behaving in this manner that's disrespectful to themselves and so forth. But stop and think for a minute. What other country can you go to and see this type of behavior exhibited? And I really, really thought about that. And what other community, you know, do you go to and see this type of behavior exhibited? I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, it was a wake-up call. It's like throwing cold water on your face. It's like, yeah, you know, this whole any and everything thing, you know, is just insane. And what's the wildest thing about it to me is whereas you have whereas you have black women, a lot of them now defending it and, you know, coming to the aid of these people. You know, back in the day, black women were the number one people against it. There was a whole movement against this type of stuff. What happened? See Dolores Tucker, you remember her? See, Dolores Tucker was right. I hate to say it. See, Dolores Tucker was right. You know, they were against the women who boycotted Nelly when he did the tip drill video. What happened to them? There was a whole college campus tried to end Nelly's career. You understand what I'm saying? Sisters was not abused by this shit. Black women were hell on this type of behavior back in the day. Right?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So what happened? Why is it cool now? Why is it something that you cape for? Not all sisters, obviously, but why is it something that so many sisters are caping for now? Why is this acceptable now, other than the fact that the white media has been pushing this heavy to black women for the last 15, 20 years, and now we're in this weird space where life imitates art, if you can call it that. This started with reality TV. Really, you know, if we want to really talk about where this garbage came from, it's reality TV. I was talking to another sister the other day online, you know, talking about this stuff where you got these older women trying to, you know, over sexualize themselves to appeal to these younger men. And I'm like, when you were growing up, in the 90s, when we were growing up, they was talking about Candy Burris and this sex swing she's trying to sell and all. I'm like, what? Look, when I scroll down my thread, I don't know what the hell kind of crazy shit I'm seeing, right? She's trying to sell this sex swing and she's got the thing hanging up and she's swinging from it and she got her legs all up and this. And I'm like, sister, during the 90s, the 80s and 90s when we was growing up, first of all, what group of women were accepted? And what middle-aged woman, a woman who supposedly knows better as far as how she carries herself, how she presents herself. What women did we have out there doing this? Who?
Yeah.
Who? I'm just saying. As we're discussing growth and mentality, but a lot of retracting and going back to archaic theories about a woman's position. Okay, growth and
Archaic
mentality.
according to
Here's
who?
what's
A card,
okay.
exactly. And
So we like I said, there's women out here that promote that stuff and embrace it, and there's women out here that's really understanding it. And most of the women are going through their healing phases. Once they go through their healing phases, they start to realize, like, I'm not tolerating this BS. So I'm going to show you two type of women that are actually out here not for the bull crap, right? So here goes the one video.
I'm aware that I'm not a man and I will never be a man. However, I'm not willing to debate what I'm about to say. So I low-key feel like now that I've healed and I look at relationships differently, men get the short end of the stick because you're not allowed to be sensitive, but how dare you not talk to me about how you feeling? Don't be emotionally constipated, but if you tell me too much how you really feeling, then I don't believe that you're man enough for me. I don't want you to be this superhuman all the time, but you can't take that S off your chest. Do not sit the world down off of your shoulders around me because I'm not willing to pick it up and help shoulder it. Like, you can't have boundaries. You can't have standards. You can't require a woman bring something to the table that you set before she was even in the picture. You're not allowed to have a broken heart. You're not allowed to be afraid of love. You're not allowed to have walls. You're not allowed to be vulnerable. There are so many things that the world will not allow you to do, but they also expect you to do the same thing. You know what I mean? The world would have you to believe that you're.
So that's the sister. She was speaking on behalf of men.
yeah.
And I couldn't play the rest of it because it was like music in it. But basically that's what she spewed, right? So I wanted to get into this one where this lady right here also was speaking on behalf of men as well. So I definitely want to read this to y'all real quick. Let's see. Oh, I think it's this one. Yep. All right. So women don't want a good man until they are damaged. Good guys are never an option until a woman is tired of being played, until she has kids with a guy that doesn't want anything to do with her, until she is getting old, until she wants a stepfather for her child, until she wants a husband. Early in life, most women choose the wrong guys, and then after those guys spit them out, now they want a good man. The same good man that they thought was boring, the same good man they didn't want to talk to, understanding something. The whole phase is real. In a woman, if a woman is still going through that, you as a good man will never touch her. You will only touch her after, and that can be 10 years later. Good guys deal with damaged women. Bad guys get the best years. Good guys deal with the women with the insecurities, women with the trauma, women with the anger, and women with the babies. And this is coming from another woman,
Yeah.
you know? So there are women out here that's understanding what fellas are going through. They're understanding the different standpoints. And this is what Major was saying earlier, that we have flaws on both sides. And it's like our job on both sides is to identify it and come to that median ground where we can say, okay, yeah, that's messed up. We need to correct that. Yeah, that's messed up. We need to correct that. And that would eliminate us from going through the gender wars, from pointing the fingers, and everybody now gets to take accountability. What we're trying to do is normalize accountability, and at the same time getting people to do the correct thing that they need to do so we can establish healthy relationships. So that way women don't have to go through things and then end up being bitter towards the wrong man. And a man doesn't have to go through things being bitter towards the wrong woman. We want to get everybody on the same page so we could cohesively build together and start building on the community and not fighting with each other. That's slowing down the process of that. So that's why I wanted to show you guys that, to let you know that there are men out here trying to point things out to correct it, and there are women out here pointing things out to correct that as well. Nobody shies away from scrutiny.
Dope. I love it.
So
Go ahead.
I do want to say, huh?
No, I was
No, I do.
going to address something in the comments, but I don't think it's really.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to say this. I noticed that people are running, we accept things too much. We have to have a code of conduct. We have to be in this society with a standard, a blueprint, boundaries, a set alignment, goals, and rules like we had back in the day. Back in the day, we had a code of conduct. We had a way where we conducted ourselves on a universal level. It wasn't on an individual level, it was a universal level. Now we're getting people to do individual stuff. And now when you do individual stuff, you have ideologies that come out. And with these ideologies, it just carries everybody elsewhere, right? Everybody's going this way and going that way and fighting this way and fighting that way because we allowed the structure that we had built for years to just be demolished. And everybody now is running without a reinforcement of some kind of structure. And they're trying to, a lot of people don't understand how systemic racism works. If you don't understand the global system of systemic racism, white supremacy, everything you think you know will only confuse you. And the reason why I'm saying that is you're starting to see a lot of propaganda and a lot of agenda towards sexual confusion, confusion of identity. We've been going through identity confusion, right? We've been going through that for a long time, and now they're putting sexual confusion. Once you put confusion in the head of people, you can destroy any people when you have that much confusion going on in their mindset. And that's what they're doing. They're doing that to destroy you. And how they do that by destroying you is isolating everybody in individuality instead of everybody joining together as a force and working as a unit. And I'm going to show you that, especially in our community, we are accepting things that we should be pushing back on. I talked about this the other day. Everybody wants people to accept things, right? When they feel like it benefits them or they know somebody close to them that they feel like, let me stand up for that person because I know somebody that I could stand up for and that would like me to stand up for them in that realms. That's all good and dandy. But when COVID hit, people told people to listen to the doctors, listen to the science of things. Now you have these ideologies going around and nobody's talking about listen to the science behind it. Nobody's talking about listen to the doctors behind it. Everybody's telling you to just blow where the wind blows because certain people are putting and pushing this agenda and they want it to be normalized through society. And what we don't understand is when you're normalizing things, there's a bigger agenda behind that. Because when you're normalizing things, I want you to have it in your mind that a lot of things are being normalized for the results of evil to be now normalized. When we're seeing a lot of this identity reconstruct is because they're trying to make grown individuals be normalized to dealing with young individuals. Now we have people that are saying that they identify as a minor. We had a guy that went to court. It was a white guy that went to court. I think he was like 60 years old. And he got caught talking to a 14-year-old. And he told the judge that I identify as a 14-year-old child. And when we are going out here and they're promoting these things, they want you to be normalized and trying to normalize people identifying so that these guys that are quote unquote pedophiles can normalize being around your children without any repercussions or consequences. You gotta push back. This is what we're talking about. There's certain things you got to critique and you have to push back. And I'm going to show you how crazy these things are. Because when you run around here, and I see a lot of y'all changing y'all titles to he, her, him, they, she, Jim, whatever it is, they have you now programmed to just go through the construct of basically moving you how they want to move you. But did you know that the pronouns, they're extending the pronouns now? And I want you to know how, when you don't nip things in the bud, when you don't sit back and stand on your square, and you don't, push back and say, this isn't right, this is what happens. And I want you to pay attention to this. All right?
Theirs or z's, them's, or zers, or really any neopronouns that aren't ze, her, hers. I am a white, transmasculine, femme, non-binary, temporarily mostly able-bodied, neurodivergent, obsessive-compulsive, chronically ill, culturally Jewish, Unitarian Universalist, non-monogamous, demi-low romantic, gray demi-bisexual, survivor of acute and complex trauma, millennial, and cat parent in mental health recovery.
Now, I think that was about 25 pronouns.
It's a weirdo. I sum it up in one: weirdo. And yeah, that's the antithesis of being archaic. That's what these new bloods. That's the type of bullshit they're talking. Nah, bruh.
The seismic shock I just had in my temple, that headache. Jesus Christ.
Nonsense. These damn weirdos running around.
Store that much up.
Ill. Oh God.
When you don't address it, this is what happens. This is how things go from minute to major.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting back saying that's crazy, but guess what? We haven't stopped it at the lower level. So now that is going to be the new norm. Now you're going to have to sit down. And now they have a thing now where they're trying to put into the law, because y'all just co-sign everything without checking it. They're now going to put something into law where if you misgender somebody, you're going to face consequences.
Yeah, they've been trying that for a while. This is why I don't rock with
it's going to be pushed into motion. I'm watching it, and it's going to be pushed into motion. And that's scary. And a lot of times we sit back and we don't even realize, even if you believe that you're okay with it, you're halfway out the door. Most of y'all 40, 50, 60 years old, y'all don't want to fight no more. But fight for the next generation so that they don't have to go through that. Because
real talk.
What happens is when you don't fight for the next generation and you let stuff like that just go, they're going to have a tough time. And now you have grandchildren, you have children, grandchildren, that now if they get in a situation where they misgender somebody, they might go to jail, because they're always trying to put in laws to put us, especially us, in jail. We're not selling drugs like we used to. We're not doing the crimes like we're used to. That's why you have a lot of officers out here plotting and planting drugs on these people, planting guns on innocent people, because we're not doing what the quote unquote they portray us doing. We're not doing that. Statistically, crime has gone down way above line across in the Black community. They're not telling you that. And they're promoting these shows that show imagery of us just being drug dealers in hopes to get us to, go back into that limelight. But in the reality of it is we're not doing that. We're actually out here being positive. We're doing it. So now they're shooting us in the back. This is where all of this comes from, right? So understanding that you got to push back on stuff that you just say, look, I'm cool with certain things, we're not gonna negotiate with. It's non-negotiable. We're putting a nip in the bud to that. And we have to start getting in that mentality. This is not just for us. This is for the future generation. This is pushing back for them, not us.
Well, I mean, in order
You
to
know?
do that, we have to first get in a mental space where we're not so mentally preoccupied with nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the first thing, you know,
Big.
because
That's big.
there are any number of other conscious not quite like this, but there are other conscious entities out here, other conscious podcasts. And if you look at the numbers of the conscious ones versus the
Yeah,
numbers on World Star, versus the numbers on Shade Room, versus the numbers on Baller Alert, you know, where people are constantly posting and they're constantly inundating you with dumb shit. You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? With you know, people just being reckless and you know, just doing whatever, you know, and just cooning for attention, which is what a lot of it is, if we're just being totally honest, you know. But you have to
yeah,
understand, you know, the machine behind that, and you know, the type of things that you know get promo versus the type of things that don't get talked about. You know, that's all orchestrated. You understand?
Oh
And
yeah.
so when you start to understand that that's all orchestrated and the purpose for which it is orchestrated, which is to keep us distracted, we can't think about
yeah,
things like that because of the stupidity that they're constantly pushing out there and that people are constantly talking about on the most popular sites, the stupid shit the celebrities are constantly doing. You understand what
right.
I'm saying? And you know, they'll take these things and they'll make a headline. I mean, credible news organizations, supposedly credible, like CNN, MSNBC, you know, these type of people always talking about what the Kardashians are doing, always talking
Yeah,
about who Amber Rose is fucking this week. You understand what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. Just always talking about some nonsense. You
yeah,
know, we have an issue where we're just a little too preoccupied with nonsense, you know, and that hurts us at the end of the day because it causes us to not focus on important things. You know, we go right back to maturity. We right back in that same space. You know, we got a lot of us that just big ass overgrown kids, and we're not getting that these people are coming for us. They're they're passing these laws where you can, you know, be fined or arrested or whatever for misgendering someone. They these people out here talking about how you're violating their civil rights by
yeah,
misgendering them. You understand what I'm saying? Which is just some
yeah,
shit they made up at the end of the day that means nothing. You know, they're two genders, male and female, period. But
yeah,
by the time the liberals get done with it, we're gonna have all these laws on the books that talk about all this gobbledygook, and what's it going to come down to? Another way
yeah,
that you can criminalize something against a black person and practice anti-black racism against them and arrest them for something or fine them for something and get them in the system for something that's total nonsense. You got to
yeah.
really watch these people and push back heavy, especially these goddamn liberals. Go ahead, Bob.
Speaking of that, and I should have jumped out at me sooner and didn't, and I apologize for it. But I
Yeah.
want you to stop for a second because that's not necessarily where we're going, but let's just sit there for a second or two. I want you to
Mm,
think about that. All of this, this ideology regarding gendering people and having multiple different genders beyond male and female. All of this whole subject of conversation, because I understand that this has been a theory that's been kicked around for a while, but in terms of really being made an issue that people are really forced to deal with and have these conversations about, this is really only
mm.
several years old.
Really?
You weren't really having these conversations. You definitely weren't having these conversations in the early 2010s. The big issue then was really gay marriage and the legalization of that. But this whole concept of
Yeah.
multiple genders and all this identify as this and such, that's really several years old. It's not even a decade old yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
They just
already at the
made it
point
up.
now where yeah. And we're at the point now when you're only just now where you're starting to hear people talking about legislation being drummed up and making it a criminal offense where you can be not sure what they're trying to get done. I'm sure they're probably going to go for the trying to go for the max, but where you can maybe be incarcerated or fined for it. Um,
Yeah.
let me pull us back to an issue that is nearly half a millennium old. Um, is there any law in the books? Is it currently a criminal offense punishable by imprisonment or fine for someone saying "nigga" with a hard R behind it? If Karen
Okay.
walks up in the street, spits at my feet, doesn't spit on me, but spits at my feet and calls me "nigga" with a hard R behind it, can
Mm.
I make sure she does a nice 5-year bid somewhere?
Mm.
No. If
Nah, it's not about that.
if Billy decides he wants to get froggy and demonstrate his mastery of anti-black racial slurs against me, uh, can I go ahead and march him down to the local police station and have them cough up a fine out of him? No.
Of course not. Of course not.
And these are issues that, and remember, these are issues that are tied into consistent acts of violence, violence,
Actual
slavery,
action.
mistreatment,
Yes.
all kinds of legislation geared towards the persecution and the mistreatment of a whole group of people. This has been in the works and been going on for centuries now, nearly 500
Mm-hmm.
years now. And we
Yeah.
have a Johnny Come Lately issue fabricated out of whole cloth that just came on the scene. And we're able to get
Mm-hmm.
legislation. We're talking about we're going to make this thing that people didn't even know was a thing until
Right.
recently. Now we're at
Mm.
the point now where we're going to go ahead and punish you for not doing what we say you should do, not jumping when we say jump, not rolling when we say roll.
Right. From our friends, the liberals, by the way. They got all
How,
this legislation for this new shit, but nothing for the black people who have been traumatized forever and a day in this land. Whole
again,
policies
the
have been
question
written.
is, how did we get here? We didn't hit the brakes when we should
Mm-hmm.
have. And that's the universal concept. And personally, just personally speaking, I might have an unfair advantage in being able to comprehend this kind of stuff because I'm one of these old school cats. I'm not ancient, but I'm old enough where when I was coming up, there were certain books that were just staples and that were just classroom and nursery staples. And one of my favorite books coming up, I can't remember the author's name, but one of my favorite books, and I always remember it, was called "If You Give a Mouse a Cookie." And it was one of those picture books, probably about maybe like 8, 9, 10 pages long, 12 pages tops, whatever. Pictures and everything,
Yeah.
nice and colorful and everything. And the
Yeah.
basic premise, and it started out with saying, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. And basically, this, at least the more I took away from it, was the concept of greed and the concept of or want, and how things can just grow, 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 grow. So basically, it
Yeah.
started with, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. And then it went on to say, if you give a mouse a glass of milk, he's going to want such and such. And by the time you got to the end of the book, 12 or so pages later, this mouse damn near became president of the whole country. Now, of course, it's ridiculous. It's being extra or whatever.
Right.
It's a kid. You get the kids' attention. The kids love silly stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
when you take a look at it, and we understand that adulthood, if you really get down to brass tacks, is nothing more than second childhood. If you give a mouse a cookie, if you
Mm.
give a little bit,
Right.
you create space for more. You know the old saying, "Give an inch, take a mile."
Yeah. Yeah.
If you fail to check things, again, I'm gonna keep hammering this point back. If you fail to check things when they're small, you're gonna have to contend with it at bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger sizes. And if you're lazy, if you're apathetic, if you're not paying attention, you're constantly out to lunch. By the time you realize, hey, this is an issue, maybe we should do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, it's going to be out of your control. You're not going to be able to do anything. Or in some cases, you're
Real
just
talk.
simply managing the shit show.
Mm-hmm.
When if you would have
Real.
checked it early,
Mm-hmm.
able to read the tea leaves early, say, I see where you're trying to take this. You could have shut that down way in advance.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
all these,
Real talk.
and I'm not knocking, um, no hate to anybody that identifies himself as trans or what have you. That's your personal journey. You feel that you're one way and not the other. That's up to you. I could think whatever I want to think about it, but at the end of the day, you're the one living through it. Salute to your struggle. It's not a battle I would want for myself. However,
Mm.
for those who are offended, because we're talking about being offended, those who are offended at being infringed upon, you're talking about now you identify as a woman and now you want all the rights and treatment thereof. You want all the access that women who were in fact born that way, they came out with the hardware, they came out with all the hormones and everything. They don't need to do anything extra to become this or to be this. They just are. Them feeling some type of way, a lot of those women, not all of them, but a good number of those women supported things initially in the beginning. And now it expanded beyond where they thought it would go. And now here they are, they're fighting for their right to womanhood. They're fighting for their right to be.
Yeah.
They have others coming in on their rights, privileges, their benefits, what they've fought and scrapped and clawed for, their respect,
Mm-hmm.
everything else they have to do that they've earned
Mhm.
by virtue of living. Now someone else is saying, well, you know what, I can just say I'm this, take some hormones, take some pills, whatever, get a surgery, and now I'm just like you.
Mm.
Mhm.
How do we get here?
Bruh. Real talk. And I put it the way my mom put it. My mom was like, it's just another way for men to oppress women. That threw me. I was like, whoa, you know, I thought about that because at the end of the day, peace and power, brothers, just checking in, but I definitely catch the replay. Shout out Mila Renee, what's up? Yeah, at
Much
the end
love,
of the
Miller.
day, it is another way for men to oppress women. You're taking rights and privileges and championships and titles from actual women. You got them in the MMA now.
We
You
will
got them
tell you what
in
a woman
volleyball.
is now.
Women swim, huh?
We will tell
What's
you
it?
what a woman is now.
Yeah, we'll tell you what a woman is now. Exactly. Really? You know what I'm saying? Think about that.
And that's a two-way street now, because if we can identify who is a woman,
we can identify who's
the
not a woman.
well,
Ah,
maybe you're not woman enough. Oh,
they got
because if we can
transracial now,
be-
right?
because if we can change what a woman is,
Mm-hmm.
that's a two-way street. So now we can disqualify actual women from other things. Well, you're not woman enough. We've determined that a woman has to meet such and such standards, and based on these new updated rules, you no longer qualify, so you're not a woman.
Real
You might
talk.
not identify as a man, you might not be a woman, but you're not a woman. We don't know what you are, but you're not her. You're not this.
It's insane how
The
that
slippery
works
slope.
out, and how women, like you say, women, because everybody, especially women tend to be very empathetic. Women want to see everybody have their rights, and that they present it to you in this way where we just want our rights and we just want our rights, and then you find out they want to replace you. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we get into this type of space that we're in right now. I'm for everybody having their rights too. I don't have anything against trans people or gay people or whatever, what have you. But when you start infringing on other people's rights, your ass got to get checked. That's the bottom line. You understand what I'm saying? And you having your rights and freedoms shouldn't infringe on anyone else having their rights and freedoms. And when you got the liberals putting this battery in their back, telling them, encouraging them to go out here and talk about how they're women, and I mean they have disdain. A lot of the these activists out here, they have utter disdain for women. They call them breeders. They have slurs for women at birth. You understand what I'm saying? They have slurs for them. Just like,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what the time? Can you imagine
yeah.
the time when being able to give birth is now an insult?
I'm just
You
saying, like,
breeder,
really, you're a breeder.
you person that delivers life into the world.
Real
You
talk.
9-month child carrier, like
you child carrier.
what
Bruh,
world
it's
is
insane. Just like hood rats
breeder?
and coons have slurs for decent women, they call them pick-me's. You understand what I'm saying? and things like that. You know, you have to be mindful of the type of mentality that you have. You know, you have to be responsible for putting positive energy out there and seeing through people's BS. You understand what I'm saying? You really got to be accountable, because there's a trick bag out there at every juncture. And quite frankly, as a people, we're falling for too many of them. You know what I mean? We really got to get our heads out of our asses as a collective and stop going for some of this stuff. And what's up, man? Look like you good? I think Ann was about to switch.
Oh, they got him.
Uh-oh. But yeah, man, like, you know, this whole, you know, thing where we got all these other groups, you know, trying to infringe on the rights of Black folks, and you know how they're trying to just piggyback and latch onto us and use our faces for their movement, you know, but really low key they got their own agenda. That's gotta stop. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's the long and short of it, man. We have to put a stop to it. And you know, we do that by getting out here and getting in front of things and focusing on the right type of content to move us forward. We get ready to do our crown check in a minute. Looks like we lost Ant. Ant, you there?
It's like Anthony has been vanished to the shadow realm.
Oh man. Yeah, hold on, man.
So we can bring him back from the dead.
Hold on. Giving y'all. Yeah, we're trying to bring Ant back right here. A second. Oh, there he is. And
there we go.
We're back.
What up, boss? What's happening?
We're back.
Go ahead.
All right. It won't let us be great. It won't let us be great tonight, huh? I said,
hey, that's okay, because guess what? We ain't have.
It's all good. It's all good. So, brother, what's next on the slab, bro?
We're definitely gonna go into Queen Check so we can get up out of here. So it's been a long night for everybody, but we definitely want to get into our next Queen Check, which is
this is a phenomenal sister, by the way, man.
Queen Check.
Crazy.
Where did this go?
I got my Birdman hand rub in full effect right now.
Yeah, this sister was, oh my God. She just did so much.
Our Queen Check we have tonight is the legendary queen that we have right now is Miss Marion Croak.
Marion, you the goat.
I don't know why is it.
Man.
They're really good.
This young lady. Go ahead, Aunt.
Where is it? Where is she at? Waiting for her to kick.
We see the picture.
Hold on. Do y'all see the picture?
Yes, we see it. Yep. It's there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Marion Croak, who has more than 200 U.S. patents. And
it's crazy.
That is so phenomenal because one of her famous patent that she was world known for is the IVPO. And basically gonna bring it up right here.
Protocol, baby.
So
There you go. We see it.
For the okay, so here we go. Right?
Yeah.
So Marion Croak is beyond the tech and enable us to talk on FaceTime, Zoom, and other apps. So what we're doing right now is basically what this queen has provided for us, right?
Yeah.
So all this
Yeah.
FaceTime and Zoom and all this that we're connecting with friends and family across the globe. The great class of 1977 holds the patent for the Voice over the Internet Protocol, VoIP, which helps us with calls over the internet instead of a phone line. Marion Croak has spent her life inventing, after graduating from Princeton University, earning her PhD from the USC EDU. She worked Bell in service of humanity. She went on to work at
Man, we can barely hear you.
Vice President of the Engineering U.S.
Hello?
Oh, you could barely.
Man, you
Can
cut
you hear
in
me?
and out. Yeah, we can. You're in and out, man.
Yeah.
Bob, can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah, I got
y'all
you.
read it.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she went on to work at AT&T. She's now Vice President of Engineering at Google. In 2022, Marion, owner of 200 plus U.S. patents, was one of the first Black women to be inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Among her inventions is the text to donate function. Wow. That her team helped create in wake of Hurricane Katrina, which has helped to raise millions of dollars since its inception in 2005. Croak also leads the Research Center for Responsible AI, responsible AI and human-centered technology at Google, which ensures that artificial intelligence and machine learning positively impacts users and the world, particularly marginalized communities. Wow, that is one hell of a crown check. Are you kidding me? Owner of 200 plus U.S. patents. And
That's
she designed, or she's credited with creating voice over IP. That's sick. A Black woman did that. Sisters, you should be
there's
proud.
not too many inventions
This is what
that can change the world. Because that's such like a hyped up thing. Oh, we're gonna change the world. This is gonna revolutionize whatever. There's when you take into account how many people are on the planet currently, and then you add that with people who came before, so the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of people who have existed, and all the different things that have been invented from point A to all the way to now. All in all, that's really only a handful if you really want to think about it. That could be maybe like 100,000, 500,000 items maybe compared to all the people out there who've existed. But in the modern era, when you talk about something that really has literally revolutionized the world, can you imagine what that is to be able to communicate over the internet? You have a Wi-Fi connection, you have a data connection, you're able to communicate. You don't need to have the telephone wires anymore. You can have not just voice, but you can even have video conversations. This is something that's in every country, just about. People in different continents have access to this. All kind of high-profile meetings and stuff are being conducted. That's amazing.
It is truly extraordinary. That is a sick invention, dude. Like, it has changed the world, dude. Back in the day, Star Trek, the Jetsons, all that type of stuff. We started some cartoons and in movies, and a Black woman can be credited with actually bringing it to life. Are you kidding me, bruh? That's wild. That's just that my head is exploding right now. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And that's not the only thing that she's invented, by the way. But
that's one of them. There's 199 other ones, and they're
200
probably
plus.
all impressive.
This is why, listen, man, I applaud for this, sister. That is outstanding. And this is why I'm always, even when I used to mentor younger girls, you understand what I'm saying? I would always press and tell sisters, to use this. you know what I'm saying, to use this. A lot of sisters, you know, they're always taught to look pretty. They're always taught, you know, to speak softly, and all that's nice. You understand what I'm saying? But man, our sisters are sharp. You understand what I'm saying? And literally, as we just discussed, they're capable of creating things that literally change the world and how people do business, how people interact globally. I love it, man. Wow, that's inspiring. I did not know that before this week. I forget who posted it initially, but wow, you know what I mean? That's a phenomenal queenship right there. Crazy. Yeah,
definitely. We love our black women. I don't want nobody to take it as anything more. We love our black women. That's why we salute our black women. We just want to highlight the good black women that's out here doing their thing when the society's trying to highlight the ratchet women that don't really represent who the real black women are. So, you know, we just want to give our salute to all the black women that's out here doing their thing, doing, you know, creating greatness and making life easier for us. You know, she did the VOIP, but you know, we have another black woman who invented the she invented the what do you call it? What's the thing where you go searching? Oh
the
gosh,
search engine.
The search engine?
The search engine.
Huh?
The search engine.
No, not the search
You mean
engine. Not the search engine. GPS. GPS.
Oh
So the black woman invented the GPS.
Dope.
So you know, we have black women out here that's doing their thing, man. We want to salute them for what they do, because without them, this whole world will be in chaos, you know. So definitely, we definitely want to salute them. And just a little video right quick to show you how much we adore black women and how much the world and society admires black women. They're watching. We're all watching. We're admiring in your footsteps. So gotta love our black women. You know what I'm saying? Gotta love our black women.
The naturalness. The naturalness.
Exactly. They just sit back and they create greatness. They create greatness.
Just walking down the street. That was dope. That was a dope video. I like to see stuff like that, man. I love it.
Definitely. You know, it was a great show tonight. We're sorry for all of the crazy complications tonight. You know, it's always gonna be that craziness when we have some real good stuff for you guys. But I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. We really appreciate everybody tuning in, man, riding out with us. Damn near almost 3 hours. And y'all do this constantly on the week. Yo, we love it. 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 But yeah, definitely tune in to us next week as we do the male version. So I know a lot of the men that's going to come through. I have a couple of fellas that I definitely want to jump on stage and see, you know, if they hold themselves accountable and what they speak and talk about and what kind of man they are. So women, ladies, feel free to join in and see the different various of men and who they are, and see what they're about. You know, it's all about accountability, progressing and moving forward. And that's what we do here on Manversation. So we love y'all. Remember, like, share, follow, and I'm gonna turn it over to you guys.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Listen, everybody, shout out to y'all. You know, the comments got a little spicy this evening. That's good. Good. Okay, we welcome that. We don't run from nothing. I was really looking forward to somebody coming in and calling up, but you know, didn't happen this week. I'm sure it will coming forward. But when you come on, make sure you come on with some real shit and not some bullshit. That's all I ask, because we
come on,
we get down on here. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to really bring it if you go come on. You feel me? So shout out to everybody. You know, and respect to everybody's opinion is coming from a well-meaning place. You got some people that they really feel certain stuff, and this is how we resolve things. We have dialogue. You're never going to resolve anything if you just let these about them. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when you chime in, just make sure that you're speaking from a place of, hey, how do we fix it? How do we come together? And you're not taking things, you're not being emotional and taking things, to heart. We're not attacking anybody. We're really trying to keep it clean, so to speak, and speak to the issues. And we do this hard work of fixing all of these fractures that Black men and women have had over the last, I want to say, 50 to 70 years, really. We gotta come together and we gotta talk about these things, and well-meaning people need to come up with solutions. That's the long and short of it. Let's just come together. Like Bobby said, that's how children think. No, we don't just come together. We got to talk about our problems and we got to correct them. Nobody's above criticism. If you're a woman and you're on here, yes, women are going to be criticized sometimes. That's what it is. If you're a man and you come on here, yes, men are going to be criticized sometimes. That's what it is. You don't fix problems by ignoring them and acting like people are perfect and they don't have them. That's the long and short of it. And that is what we're here to do, the long-term work of mending that fence, between Black men and Black women, where we look at each other as enemies. We're not enemies. We need each other. We need you, sisters. We love you, sisters. We know you, sisters. You love us. We know that you need us too. But this whole rift where, people talk, oh, I don't need you. I don't need it. No, that doesn't make any sense. I've said this before. I'll say it again. If we didn't need each other, we wouldn't all be here. So let's tighten up on that as a collective. Let's be mature. Let's talk about these things. Let's correct them, because at the end of the day, everybody's not lying. Everybody's out here talking about, hey, y'all need to fix this. Y'all need to tighten up on that. We pointing fingers back. No, you need to fix this. You need to tighten up on that. There's validity to some of these arguments. And we got to find where the validity is, find common ground. And we need to do the hardest work of changing, making changes to ourselves, becoming the best versions of ourselves, avoiding the bullshit that they got out here distracting you and focusing on real issues. We need to do that. It is imperative if we are going to progress anywhere, period. That's what it is.
Facts,
Right?
facts, and more facts. Look, the whole purpose for our existence is because we have issues. We said it before. We ain't some podcast niggas. We did not wake up one morning and decide we're gonna go ahead and hop on YouTube and just start talking, just shooting the breeze because we're bored, or because we're trying to sell products, or because we're trying to make people laugh. We came together for a purpose because we've seen that there's a lot of issues. You do have some people in some areas and sectors addressing them, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. The more hands on deck, the merrier. And so we figured we'd go ahead and roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty in our own way. And that's in this platform here, Manversations. Um, we did have we had a lot of comments that were positive and supportive, and who that were in sync with what we were talking about. We also had some comments that were not as positive and definitely disagree with us. And you know what? That's okay too, because dialogue. We're not looking necessarily for an echo chamber, but we are looking to spark some conversations and get some changes and get some results. The reality is, we didn't end up where we are right now in a day. This didn't happen over the course of a weekend. This is something that's been stirring up and brewing for a long time now, and that's why we are where we are. So it only makes sense that there's going to be some pushback and some resistance to a lot of the things that we're bringing up and a lot of our views on it. And should be told, we expect that. We did not come here expecting that we were going to have everyone who tunes in and hears our voices to be in lockstep with us. On the contrary, we actually expect a lot of resistance because when you're looking to create something new, oftentimes you got to tear down what's there. If you have an old rundown warehouse or broken down building on a lot and you want to go ahead and build some housing, you want to build a shopping center, whatever, you can't just build around that garbage. You got to tear that shit down. You got to demolish it. You got to break it down. You have to tear down what's old and worn out and no longer serves the greater good in order to put up something that works again. That doesn't mean everything that's older and throwback is worth tossing out. There are many things that are older that are still beautiful, still have value, and still serve us well. But it's about finding out what works for us and what doesn't. And if it's old and needs to be replaced, toss it out. If it has been done before, but it needs to be implemented, let's get the work and start building. But ultimately, this is all hands on deck. And if you value your brokenness, if you value your dysfunction more than you value our wholeness, our well being, than our progression, you gotta look at yourself. You gotta figure out, why am I so clinging to this? Why do I have this death grip on this small little object when there's so much bigger out there for me to grab hold of? You need to think about that. And that's all we got for this week. We catch y'all next week, same time, same place.
It's out.
Same time, same place next week. Y'all know what it is. It's gonna be a dope show, another dope show next week. Hopefully we don't get all this backlash from the internet community.
Feminists? From the feminists? Yeah. Well,
the internet community is bashing us right now, so we gotta see if
like Dave Chappelle, Rick James said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, like,
darkness is spreading. Let's go.
I'm built for it tough. I'm ready for it. You know, at the end of the day, man, you have to be. You gotta have thick skin. And like I said, call in. But make sense when you start talking. That's the caveat. That's the catch. Because some of these comments, you know what I mean? Like, listen. At the end of the day, man,
change is difficult, but that don't mean it don't need to get done.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, man. Like, and we're not. One thing we're not gonna do. We're not gonna kiss ass and lie. I know a lot of people, particularly women. You're used to the Derek Jacksons of the world, people brown nosing women and can't pander into them and all that shit. We don't do that here. Sorry.
Yeah. We don't do that here. We definitely don't do that here. But we're definitely gonna end it out today. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.
Bless up. Yeah.
On the album, we do things like songs that are little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.